Hello again, everybody, and welcome to 4-Star Chicago Sports. This is the Barely There podcast, and man, we got a full plate tonight. Poles and Ben Johnson speak, give us a little peek into the future. Tremaine Edmonds, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, they talked about them all. We're going to talk about them all with you, and of course, any other Bears rumors and news and notes. The Bears are at the Combine. We're right here. We're with you. We're going in the draft room. We're looking at safeties. We're going to have a ton of fun right after this. I lost it. I got
Windy City banners rocking 4 stars align. Dynasty dreams rise, Bulls in their prime. Cubs curse shattered, the victory divine. Fields be running, clock ticking on my timeline. Shot-town heroes, legends never fade. Black Hawks flying, cutting ice with the blade. White Sox diamonds, the Southside parade. 4 stars shine bright, legacies they made. Mike with the crown, air rain, no dispute. Sweetness in the backfield, Walter in pursuit. Bear down Sunday's midfield, battles cute. Chicago.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to everybody that's already in the chat. We already got 13 in the building. That's going to jump immensely as the night goes on. I'm pretty confident. How my boys doing today? Kyle, Jay, how we living?
Fantastic. Had a little bit of a rough morning. Left my phone at your house. Thank God Tara mentioned it because I had no idea. Brought everything else home, which is great. But yeah, feeling better now. Had time to hydrate. How about you, Kyle?
Good, man. Good, tired. I didn't get home till late last night. Woke up.
Yeah, I feel you. I actually left pretty early last night, 11 o'clock. I just didn't fall asleep right away. I'm not
every Tuesday for the last month, I've had one person at the bar until we actually locked the door. I'm like, bro, you're killing me.
Get out. If you're on the show and we're
not you guys, anybody else.
Yeah, polls. Let's get into this because we got a lot of ground to cover, a lot of things to talk about. Jimmy Stein just jumped in the chat. Erica's in the chat. Bill Joe's in the chat. Phil's in the chat. What up, boys and girls? Yeah, let's get right into this because obviously some big news or notes coming out. The Bears did grant Tremaine Edmonds permission to seek a trade. According to league sources, it's blasted everywhere. I'm sure everybody's heard this. $15 million off the books. I personally don't know where you guys are, but we're going to get to you guys here in a second. Don't think they're going to get anything. If they get a 6th or 7th rounder, I guess that would be a prize because we weren't expecting to get anything for him in the first place. Most likely being cut. Edmonds, to me, 28 years old, still one of the better linebackers in the league. I'm going to be honest. Last year for me, led linebackers and interceptions, was having an all-pro season until he got hurt. He finished the season leading the Bears in tackles. Even I understand the constraints that we have with him, but at the same freaking time, you're losing a pretty good goddamn quality football player. You're going to have to replace him. And before I turn this over to you guys to talk about this, before we move on to the next subject, I think it's really easy to replace him. Leo Chanel, DeMarco Jackson. Let's get those two guys in here. Bye-bye, Tremaine. And I like where we're going to be. What are you guys' thoughts on Tremaine Edmonds heading to greener pastures?
I like him. I just don't know that his salary was worth it. This year, he actually was playing up to his salary up until, that injury. But he also was, basically a Sam linebacker. He wasn't a middle linebacker anymore. So I don't know. I'd hate to see the guy go because I do like him, but I understand why he has to go. I think you can find, as we found on our own team, replacement level players that could play equal to or maybe even better from a lot less money, and we need the money. So it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier in the process, guys. There was got to be some people who were going to be made business decisions. Tremaine Edmonds was at the top of the list. Unfortunately for him, he's owed $18 million. Only 2 of it's guaranteed. So the Bears only on the hook for $2 million in dead cap. If they cut him, that saves them $16 million under the cap. Listen, do I like Tremaine Edmonds? Yeah, sure. He's a good player. I mean, obviously, if you're a Chicago Bears fan and the linebackers we've seen here, he's not one of the best linebackers ever played for the Bears, but he does plays his role. He does his job. But I could tell Bears fans, there's in my mind, there's no chance in hell the Bears are getting anything in return for Tremaine Edmonds, because every single team in the NFL sees the writing on the wall. They all know that he's going to be cut. So if you want him that bad, instead of trading draft capital for him, just wait for the Bears to cut him. They know he's going to be a cash capital or a cap casualty. Just wait for the Bears to cut him, and you can pick him up free agency. And if you like him that much, you can offer him more money than anybody else. But I certainly wouldn't be trading draft capital away for a guy who's going to be cut in a month.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, like I said, I mean, I think we all agree, we all like Tremaine Edmonds. Just unfortunately, cap restrictions. You gotta.
Well, Sean, a lot of people complain about the contract. I really don't think it was that bad of a contract. I think with the contract he got, I think he played pretty much in line with what he was paid. He's not a top 5-10 linebacker in the NFL. He's not one of the worst linebackers in the NFL. He's closer to the high middle pack, and that's basically what he got paid. It's not like he got some 4-year, $148 million contract like he's Micah Parsons on the Bears. He played well. He played really well here, and the injury was just unfortunate. There's nothing he could do about that. Everybody gets injured. TJ Edwards got injured last year. I mean, he still led the team in tackles. He's better than people give him credit for. I think a lot of Bears fans like to pick on the guy who after they get paid, if they don't feel like they're living up to their contract. I think he's a really good dude. I wish nothing but the best for him. And to be honest with you, Sean, I hope he ends up on the Buffalo Bills again. I hope he has a chance to win a Super Bowl. I like him. I like him.
And as Erica points out here, it does seem, as listening to our esteemed general manager, that we have seen the last of Jaquan Brisker in Chicago, and it also seems as though we might finally have some clarity here with DJ Moore. As Ryan Poles said, we want him here. We think highly of him, but it's really small. It's hard for me to read. I should have made this a little bigger. But this is the time now where we have to look at it all scenarios, and pretty much make a decision. And they're going to make a business. I can't read this. It's too goddamn small. I'm sorry, guys. But it does look like we are saying goodbye to DJ Moore, and it's going to happen relatively quickly. For those who don't understand the contract situation, if the Bears don't trade him by March 13th, they're on the hook for next year's salary. So DJ Moore has to be traded by the 13th. In the world in which we live in, you have Fernando Mendoza, the number 1 pick, going to the Raiders. All the talk about Max Crosby coming to Chicago. It could still be a fit. There's a lot of smoke around it. DJ Moore there, him here. We give up a first-round pick. I don't know, boys. What do you think? I mean, it looks like the writing's on the wall. Before March 13th, DJ Moore will no longer be a Chicago Bear. And unfortunately, I almost want to cry right now because everyone knows how much I love this kid, and this sucks. But it is a business, and business decisions have to be made sometimes, even if they're not popular ones.
Well, I don't think the Bears are really going to make any big splash moves in free agency this year. I mean, I could be wrong for sure. I just don't know that the salary cap is allowing them to do that. And I don't know how much room they're really going to be able to clear to bring in, a big splash move. I mean, getting Max Crosby is great, but he's also going to be $35 million a year. So, I want to see him stay, but I also think he's a perfect candidate to restructure that contract. He's already got 2 more years left or 3 more years left on the contract. You could easily extend that out another year or two. And then by that time, you're probably done with him, or you can trade him later. But I don't think his contract is too crazy. Maybe 6 touchdowns and 900 yards or whatever it was, 600 yards. What isn't worth that kind of money? But I've been saying all along, we don't win those 2 games against Green Bay if it's not for DJ Moore. And I think that the team sees that. And I think the team sees how he played through a lot of injury. He was injured because he took that hit in that game. And then when he caught that ball right there, he was on the ground. It looked like he was hurt again. And I don't know if it was just back pain or kidneys or whatever. But, we like to mention how, his character is subject at times or suspect at times. But I'll tell you what, he played his ass off during those 2 Green Bay games. And I, too, would love to see him stay here. But again, I also understand if we can't make it work. Honestly, I'd rather see, I know it's not as much money, but I'd rather see, DeAndre Swift go before him. I'd love to see Dayo Odingo go before him, but that ain't going to happen because we're stuck with that. But I think if you get rid of Tremaine Edmonds and restructure just 2 of those big contracts, the Montez Sweat and the DJ Moore contract, I think that allows for enough room for us to maybe bring in some mid-level guys that might be able to help fill in, and then we still got plenty of room for the draft. And honestly, if I'm sitting in Ryan Poles' seat, the only way you can really build this, because of where you're structured your cap already, is through the draft. You have to draft. We need as much young talent as possible, because in 2 years, you're going to be signing a max contract on your quarterback. So you get the young players in that you can now, because too many big contracts, it's hurting teams like, say, San Francisco, right? Now they paid Brock Purdy a max contract. They paid Trent, their left tackle a max contract. They played their running back a max contract. They played their edge a max contract. That's why they got rid of so many of those veterans on their team just a couple of years ago, because they just couldn't afford them. And that's thankfully not where the Bears are at right now, but they might be there soon. So I think it's all draft. We don't need to do much in free agency here. Just get in some key players that we need, and then just draft.
Hey, Kyle, really quick before you respond, I just want to say, chat, we did get a message back from StreamYard that we can't get on X for some reason right now, and chat seems to be moving a little slow. So bear with us, and we will get back to your comments as they pop up. Sorry, Kyle.
No, you're good, man. Yeah, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but DJ Moore's 4-year extension starts next year, right? 2026, this year. So he's got 4 years left on his contract. Listen,
there you go. Yeah.
If Ben Johnson decides that the guys he wants to pay to be here with Caleb Williams when he signs his extension are Colston Loveland and, let's say, Luther Bird and maybe Rome Odunze too, I don't know, but then you probably at this point have no option to get rid of DJ Moore. You have to get rid of DJ Moore, I'm going to assume, but you don't have to do it this year. You don't necessarily have to do it this year. You guys have heard me say this 1,000 times. Did Caleb Williams get better last year? Did he develop? Oh, sure, absolutely. No doubt about it, under Ben Johnson. But do I believe that he's like a finished product? No, I don't. And I think if you could find a way to restructure DJ Moore and keep him here, instead of subtracting weapons from this team, give him another one. I mean, just make life easier and easier and easier on Caleb every single year if possible, especially since he's still on a rookie contract. You can still pay these guys. But if the Bears decided that they want to add to the defensive side of the ball and they use DJ Moore as a trade piece to bring somebody like Max Crosby here, and they feel like that makes their defense a top 15, 10 unit in the NFL, and now they're competing for a Super Bowl, if that's what they decide, man, I'm all for it, because so far Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen with Ryan Poles, everything they've done I've liked. There's really nothing I can argue about. So if they want to use him as a trade piece and boost up this defense, beef up this defense, I'm all for it. Now, do I love DJ Moore? Yeah, absolutely. It's the name on the back of the jersey. He's a great dude, man. DJ Moore is a family guy. He's been nothing but the consummate professional since he got to the Chicago Bears. He was leaned on heavily when Justin Fields is here with the 1,300-yard, 8-touchdown season. He's been one of the Bears' best, most consistent players. And I understand people are upset about his year last year, according to his contract. But let's face it, guys, if you didn't sign that contract and he played out the last year of his Panthers contract that the Bears traded for here last year, would you be complaining about him? Probably not. They're just complaining about him because he signed a $110 million extension and he didn't fit well in this offense right away. I don't blame DJ Moore for that. I think this coaching staff was trying to figure out where to put all these guys and how these guys were going to be utilized in this offense, and it took them a while to figure it out. And by the time they did, DJ Moore became probably the most important player in the offense. If I'm the Bears and I want to score 30 points a game this next year instead of 27, I think DJ Moore should be a part of that. Now, Sean, you've talked about this numerous times. We've talked about this draft, and all we talk about is defense, because the Bears are probably going to do most of the work in the draft on defense. But this wide receiver class is really good. So if the Bears do decide to part ways with DJ Moore and bring in a guy like Max Crosby, and then they go get one of these receivers in like the second round, one of the best receivers in this draft on a rookie contract, I wouldn't be upset about that either. It just losing DJ Moore is the problem. It's what you do after he leaves. That's the problem. So say that you decide not to replace DJ Moore after you trade him, and Rome Odunze is out for the first 6 weeks of the season due to a broken foot. Now you got what? Jade Walker, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet. Now you just deal with one more injury, and you're talking about getting pretty scarce with the weapons around Caleb Williams. So for me personally, until Caleb Williams, I felt like he arrived, like Caleb is fully developed, I would keep every single weapon here for as long as I possibly could.
And you know what, Kyle, you made a really good point. I mean, if you see DJ Moore go, you might have a very similar player in Luther Burden. What I would like to see, if you do get rid of him on offense, is get one of those super speedy wide receivers that can take the top off of a defense, because Caleb Williams can throw the ball as deep as the field is long. So that's the only way I would say, if you're going to remove him, replace him with one of those weapons, and then I think your offense is still very weapon flush. But yeah, if just by getting rid of him and then adding the defense, I think that it's almost like robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know what I mean? I think you got something there.
There is one thing that's a little upsetting to me, if you're as a Bears fan. It's just, this is another extension that Ryan Poles made, and you're talking about trading him before the first year of the extension even starts. And it's not a guy who's I love DJ Moore, but he's probably not going to get you a first round pick, right? Like some of these guys, like Max Crosby, they want 2 for him. Micah Parsons all these guys want 2 first round picks for the studs they signed. And here we are with the stud we signed, who hasn't even gone into the first year of his extension. And we're like, hey, if you give us a third, DJ Moore is yours. Like,
he's yours.
It's just like, how many mistakes can Ryan Poles make before? I don't know, man. I like DJ Moore a lot. I think he's certainly worth a second round pick if you're a team looking to add a receiver to your team. But the fact that the Bears are now talking about trading him before he even starts the first year of his extension, don't you think that they should have waited for the middle of last year, after Ben Johnson was here, to talk extension with him? After they hired their coach, why would you extend him before you sign your coach? Now, obviously, this seems like Ben Johnson's like, well, we don't need this guy here, so we can trade him before his extension starts. That probably should have been a conversation that happened before you paid him.
Yeah.
That's just me personally, man.
No, Kyle, we talked about this, I think yesterday a little bit. I was very critical of Ryan Poles for a long time. Seems like last year he got a little bit better, but his past mistakes are still haunting the Bears here currently and moving into the future. Him failing in the middle of the draft has killed the depth on this team. Now we have some cap restraints, and he has to sharpen up this pen and figure this out. And I said this yesterday in our group chat. I don't like the idea of getting rid of DJ Moore, because you really don't know what you have in Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze, to me, when you think of top 10 wide receivers and you say top 10 wide receivers, you drafted top 10. Malik Neighbors was drafted top 10. He looks like a top 10. When you look at Rome Odunze, his drops are a big problem. His health last year was a big problem. And I know everyone wants to say he was leading the league in touchdowns and he was so hot at the beginning of the year. Guys, that's because he was the only person getting the ball. We talked about it on this show numerous times. They peppered the ball to him. And then go look at the efficiency. It wasn't off the charts. It really wasn't. The most efficient wide receiver on this team is DJ Moore.
Yeah. So, and if the Bears would have decided not to extend him and then talk about a trade or an extension before this season, he would still have a lot more value, Sean, because this past season is the worst season he's had here. That was the worst season he's had here. So if you would have thought about trading him after last season, I think a lot of people would have considered him a number 1 receiver, and they would have given you a better draft pick, or maybe a couple draft picks. Now that he's coming off of a 600-700 yard season, I think a lot of teams are going to try to convince the Bears that he's worth a third or a fourth, because he's not a number 1 receiver. And they did that to themselves. They put themselves in this position. Now, like I said, if you packaged him in a trade for Max Crosby, where it's like, we'll give you DJ in a first round instead of 2 first round picks, and we'll give you a second or a third in 2027, I'm okay with that. I think Max Crosby makes this defense a top 15 unit immediately, but I just don't like the way. I love DJ Moore. I want him here. I think he should be on the Bears for at least next year, for at least 1 more year. But if they do decide to trade him, unfortunately for the Bears, the way Ryan Poles went about this, you have just made his value a lot less than it could have been last year, and it's disappointing.
I don't mind the DJ contract. There was them talking in the chat earlier. It's signing the guys and extending the guys that haven't really played up to their ability. And DJ's doing everything that he's being asked to do. But Jalen Johnson was brought up in the chat. And that guy did not have a great year this year. I know it is what it is, but it wasn't great. Brisker didn't have that great of, he wasn't extended either. And Komet didn't have that great of a season, but he's, again, another guy who did everything you asked him to do. I don't know if it's the worst contract in the world. I think it's the situation where you're right, Kyle. Maybe we shouldn't have extended him, but, who knows? Maybe he was looking to go somewhere else, and they said, no, we'll keep you here. Because at the time when they signed that contract, we really didn't have anybody else.
Oh, it was great.
Receivers, so, it kind of was needed.
You knew you were going to fire your coach, right? I mean, I think there was a strong belief here that they knew they were going to fire Matt Eberflus. He was not going to be on the Bears for the next 10 years. I think they knew that, right? and you could have held off on the DJ Moore extension because you had him locked down for one more year through 2025 this past season.
Yeah.
And then while in the middle of the year, you could have talked to the coach that you brought in here and been like, hey, do you like this? Is this guy important to your offense? Is he a key piece? Do you need him here? We can extend him. And I'm sure his contract would have been even more because it's another year and the market's reset every year. But still, at least you'd be in a position where you know whether or not you need him. Now the Bears are like, I almost feel like after that press conference, like the Bears are kind of dangling DJ Moore out there, and these teams are going to come back and be like, this guy had 650 yards and 6 touchdowns. What do you guys want for him? You want a third, a fourth? Like, how much does he impact a Max Crosby trade now?
Yeah, they may look. It's the line season, right? So you're right. It could have been just a feeler. Just hey, I kind of want him here, but hell, I'll throw it out there, and if somebody wants to offer me a second, maybe I'll take it. I don't know. But if you're only getting 4th and 5th rounders, you're not going to trade DJ Moore. You do not trade him for a 4th or 5th rounder.
No, God, no, absolutely not. And you guys, we've talked about Mikey. He says DJ got 50% of his receptions, 50, then 2024, 98. The money, the production haven't balanced out. It doesn't. Listen, but again, you guys, like it's subjective. Like we know DJ Moore's capable of the 98 receptions, right? Because he did it in 2024. We know he's capable of the 1,300 yards because he did with Justin Fields. We know he's capable of 8 to 10 touchdowns because he's done it numerous times. He's had 5 1,000-yard seasons in the NFL. Like this guy has proven that he can be number one. I think that what hurt him is the fact that Ben Johnson was new to this team. He added a bunch of studs like Colston Loveland, Luther Burden. Obviously, Rome Odunze had just been drafted the year before. I think Ben Johnson was just trying to figure out how to use DJ Moore in this offense. And like a lot of the other guys in this team, nobody's talking about the slow start for Colston Loveland. Like a lot of the other guys in this team, as the season went on, you saw that he found his place in this offense and he fit more and more every single week. And he actually, at the end of the season, you guys correct me if you think I'm wrong, but outside of Loveland, it looked like DJ Moore was his go-to guy. I mean, I know Rome Odunze was coming off of an injury, but did Rome Odunze blow your socks off in the playoffs, guys? We're like, well, that's the number 9 pick of the draft. 6 catches, 148 yards, and 2 touchdowns. No, but Malik Neighbors would have been doing that shit if he was in the playoffs. I can tell you that shit.
I'll say it like this. I think that the Bears overreacted with the Rome Odunze pick. Do I think he's a good player? Yeah, I think he's a good player. Do I think he's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins? I just don't think he's on that level. Now, hopefully he can prove me wrong.
St. Brown, by the way, 13 drops this year.
Well, and you know what sucks about the guys you just named, Sean? I'm pretty sure they were all drafted after the number 9 pick. I'm pretty sure they were all. I think Justin Jefferson was like 18.
Yeah, he was.
Amon-Ra St. Brown was like what, 3rd round?
Yeah, he wasn't the 1st rounder either.
I think I agree with you, Sean. I like Rome Odunze, but Ryan Poles likes him a lot more than I do. He likes him a lot more than I do.
And that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't like Rome Odunze. I'm just saying his skill set hasn't matched where he was drafted. And now, again, if you go away,
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying everybody else is better than him.
Yeah, pretty much. When you look at this, when you
look at
it, hey, listen. When you go into next year, who's the number one? Who's the number 1 target in the offense?
It's DJ Moore.
No, it's Colston Love.
Colston Loveland. Yeah. Who's the number 2 target in the offense?
DJ Moore.
Who's the number 3 target?
Probably Luther Burden.
Where's Rome Odunze's fit?
Probably number 4.
And even if DJ Moore isn't here, he's still behind Loveland and Burden because Burden, I've said it since the moment he was drafted, is way more talented than Rome Odunze. I'm sorry. He really freaking is. This dude is an absolute stupendous wide receiver. And he is going to show it out. He's going to show it out.
Well, and let's like Jason said. I don't want to make this like a bash Rome Odunze show because I think Rome Odunze
hate Rome Odunze.
No, and I think he's going to serve his purpose.
It's just you're not. It's fine if you don't. By the way, you just
I don't hate him. I just think when we're talking about drafting, I don't think he was drafted appropriately, and the Bears could have used that pick on something that would be more productive.
Let me ask you a question, Jason. Let me ask you a question. Romy just brought it up in the chat here. If you had to pick between next year, you could either have DJ Moore and Luther Burden and Rome is gone, or Rome and Luther Burden and DJ is gone. Right now, at this point in their careers, what you've seen from them, which way are you going?
I would go younger always.
Yeah, but what about the drops for Roma Dunze? Does that not concern you at all? What if this is just who he is? What if he just
Roma
drops
Dunze,
passes? Man?
Luther Burden had more drops than he did, so I don't understand what you're talking about.
Well, Luther Burden's going to be here the way because that's the guy Ben Johnson chose.
Right, he
Ben
just got
Johnson,
drafted. They
Roma
both did.
Dunze and DJ Moore were here, but when he got here, so Luther Burden ain't going anywhere. So if they're like, we need to trade one of these guys, we have too many receivers, we're gonna have to pay them all at some point. And they're like, it's between DJ and Rome. You're trading DJ before Rome?
Yeah, I don't. Well, first of all, you're not gonna be able to trade Rome, but I would trade DJ and keep Rome, yes, because right now it's cheaper, and I don't think Rome's going to be the answer in 4 or 5 years. He's probably going to be traded or released.
Well,
if I'm looking as a team and I want to build a team, I'm going younger all day long.
Who do you think is better for Caleb? DJ Moore or Roma Dunze? Like, who do you think helps his development more? DJ Moore or Roma Dunze?
I honestly, if they start using him right, I think Roma Dunze is. Roma Dunze was brought in to be an end zone, go up and get a guy, and they don't throw him the ball that way. They don't. It's not that he's not doing it. They don't throw him the ball that way. They don't throw him the ball.
Yeah, he also hasn't been great at contested catches. I mean, he just hasn't. And I'm not saying that can't happen because he's only been in the NFL for a year and a half, considering the injury. But I mean,
right.
But
they don't throw him the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, what was advertised like when Rome in the draft, they were like Rome is the best contested catch receiver in the draft. I even when he's been on the field, I haven't seen that yet. I've seen him drop a lot of passes that were contested. If he becomes that guy, great. And I'll listen. Like I said, I like Roma Dunze.
I'll leave my words.
Roma Dunze gets open, and he's a security blanket for Caleb Williams. I like Rome, and I think he serves a purpose. But right now, to me, he's a possession receiver. He doesn't do much.
He's Michael Pittman.
Yeah, he doesn't do much after the catch. Yeah, you catch the ball, you get tackled. You catch the ball, you get tackled. But you take screen routes because you're bigger and you're good in position. But he's not like special. He's not the number 9 pick in the draft. Certainly not.
Hey, and really quick, Romy says Rome and a first for Crosby. Tom, welcome in, Tom. He said he's trading DJ 10 out of 10 times over Rome.
Listen, I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying
this new name here, Rod. I don't know that we've seen him before. Welcome to the show. And then comments. DJ doesn't like Caleb. He's made that clear. Erica, I don't know. I personally believe that, but I don't know. And I mean, Ron, which one is who's our best player? And go back to 5 wins because Caleb Williams would be for me the best player on the field, and as long as he's here, I think the Bears are going to be okay.
Sean, what's interesting to me is that Bears fans are okay with projecting like Ryan Poles did with Dale. Like we're paying him for the future. Like, all right, but why not? So DJ Moore has had 1,300 yards in the NFL and 8 touchdowns. He's had 5 1,000-yard seasons. Roma Dunze hasn't been close in his first 2 years in the NFL. He's not been even close. So what you're projecting, what you're saying is I think Roma Dunze is going to be better than DJ Moore. I just haven't seen evidence of it yet. That's my concern. I'm not saying he's not going to be, but to just come on here and be like, Roma Dunze is one day he's going to have 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns with Caleb Williams. I'm not entirely certain of that. From the Rome I've seen, I don't believe so. I think Luther Burden will surpass him, and he'll get kicked back to number 2, and he'll never get the opportunity to have 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. Just from what I've seen so far, I think if you just use the eye test, Luther Burden looks like a better receiver than Roma Dunze. Roma Dunze is probably never going to fill the number 1 receiver shoes in Chicago. So where is he getting 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns, which DJ Moore has proven he could do because he did it in Chicago with Justin Fields. You saw him do it. We all saw him do it. We haven't seen Rome do that. And the Rome I've watched doesn't look like that guy to me. He just
look. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know that anybody's going to do that in this offense with all the weapons.
Probably not. So
I don't just like the yardage number doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, but it's different. It's interesting though, right? Because Amon-Ra St. Brown's done it, and he was in Ben Johnson's offense, and they had a ton of weapons over there, right? A ton of talent on that roster. But Amon-Ra St. Brown could do it. I guess it's not the same offense. Jason, I agree with you 100%. This is not Detroit. This is Chicago. This is a totally different offense. The tight ends are better than Sam Laporta. Colston Loveland's better than Sam Laporta. So obviously he's going to command more targets than the tight ends in Detroit. But listen, I'm not saying get Rome out of here. I don't want him here. I like Rome. I think he's going to be a good player. Should we have drafted Jared Verse number 9 instead of Roma Dunze? I think that question is already made.
Yeah.
You can't go back. We have
Sure, it's just disappointing.
We could have had 5. We could have had many other players other than him, and anybody else that was available at 9 was available to the Bears at 9 had they not picked Rome.
Yeah, but
we can't. I guess I just don't understand that. I'm not praising Roma Dunze. I don't think he's going to be on the team in 4 years, But if you want to build a team, it's really hard to do it with aging players. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if DJ was 30, I understand that, but he's 28. I mean, he's in his prime right now. I mean,
He's got 3 more good years left in him.
you got.
I don't know.
He might have
Well,
5 more good years in him.
Jason, do you think they're going to pick up the 5th-year
price tag
option
is
on
up
Roma
too.
Dunze?
What?
Do you think they're going to pick up the 5th-year option on Roma Dunze?
No.
not at this point. I would say not at this point.
And
So
if next year he comes out in both, then yeah, probably.
He's got 2 years left here.
For me,
He's
if I
got
was
2 years left.
regardless if you lose a receiver this year, guys, if whoever it is, if you lose a receiver, if you decide if say it's DJ Moore, Sean, if this wide receiver class is as deep as you think, I'm drafting a receiver in the
I think it's
second or
pretty
third
good.
round. I'm drafting a
here,
receiver.
and I'll say this: no trading Rome. I think Rome has a great personality, a great head on his shoulders. My only problem with Roma Dunze is where he was drafted. If you took him in the second round, I'm probably not even caring as much about what he's doing. But you're talking about a top 10 pick. He cost us the game against the Rams. Everyone can put it on Caleb Williams or DJ Moore, like everyone wants to hang it on him. But guess what? He catches the ball in the end zone. The Bears win that football game. So let's not all just like. I'm sorry. Roman Dunze has had issues here where he was drafted. He's overvalued at that position at the moment. Hopefully he can earn it as a Chicago Bear.
I think we're beating this topic with like a dead horse. I don't think we need to discuss it anymore. Because honestly, I think both players
Sean, he's got 2 years left to prove it.
That's right.
He's 2 years burned already on his rookie contract. He's got 2 years left.
Really quick, a couple other things. Let's stop beating this one like a dead horse. 8 out of the 9 international games were announced. Per Brad Biggs, he said this a couple weeks ago. He fully expected the Chicago Bears to be announced to play in Spain. Now today, the Atlanta Falcons were announced as the 9th and final international game as the home team. Obviously, we know the Bears are supposed to travel to Atlanta during the season. A couple Bears reporters said that they expect here in the next few days for that announcement to come out where the Bears will be playing somewhere in the middle of the season in Spain. So we'll wait and see. What that happens. If that happens, a couple other things from the combine. Ryan Poles came out and expressed confidence in running back DeAndre Swift, stating he feels pretty good about Swift and tight end Cole Kmet returning for the 2026 season, despite potential salary cap restraints. Poles indicated Swift is part of the team's future. Unlike other situations, Poles did not show urgency to move on from Swift, expressing comfort with him on his place in this roster. He did, in so many words, say goodbye to Jaquan Brisker, as we talked about. He did touch on the fact that we will be without Ozzie Trapilo for the entire 2026 season. This becomes a big need. We're going to talk about that. He said the number one thing that he is looking for in this draft is to improve the team speed on the defense. They did also go back and talk about the comp picks that they're supposed to get from Atlanta. That's back in the league's hands. We'll see what happens with that. Poles also did say he, going into next season's, envisions Jackson and Wright on the left side. He also said Joe Tooney will only play left tackle in an emergency situation. He is not the left tackle for the Chicago Bears. Not surprised. He's a 9-time All-Pro at guard. Hello, people. Not a shocker.
He might actually be the best player on the Bears, to be perfectly honest with you.
Correct. And then someone else talked about this a little bit earlier, the whole Tyson Bagent thing, and this is what our head coach.
I love Tyson. And that's one that kind of pulls at your heartstrings a little bit because he's someone that you care about so deeply, and he's a hell of a football player that at some point you want to see him have a chance to do it himself. And so, we'll always do what's best for our team and our organization. I do think there's a lot of merit to having a strong number 2 quarterback, which he certainly fits that bill. I'm of the mind that he's probably one of the best 32 in the NFL. His preseason tape over the last few years has probably confirmed that, in my opinion. But if I took myself out of the equation, I want what's best for him. If if he would like an opportunity to start, I certainly hope he can get that somewhere.
So Tyson Bagent's on the block. Hey, I said this 110% last week, and I still mean it this week. Ben Johnson kind of said it too. I don't think you can understate the value of having a good number 2 in this league, especially if Caleb were to miss a couple of ball games during the season. I would feel pretty confident that Tyson Bagent could run this offense. And that's based kind of what he said, looking him in at the preseason, but looking at what he did with a shit offensive line, shit offensive players, shit coaching staff, he was able to go 2-2 in the league. So losing Tyson Bagent to me would be a tremendous loss. I don't know how you replace that or where you go find someone that would be comfortable in that role or would know this offense the way he does, because he seems like a pretty intelligent guy as well and picked up the offense quickly. So that kind of sucks, but we'll see what happens on that front.
You know, this is an interesting one because I think the Bears do love Tyson Bagent, and I think it was Poles, maybe it was Johnson, but made the comment that, look, it's not just, you know, him as a player and his hard work. It's the investment that we've put into him, not the money, but like he already knows the offense, and you want a backup quarterback to like know your offense, right? So you can have a seamless transition while your starter's out for hopefully just a week or two. Now, if Caleb's out for the whole season, their season is over. I love this kid. I love Tyson Bagent, but I don't agree with Ben Johnson that he's one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the league. You know, he's probably one of the top 40. You know, I think he has a chance, and who knows? Maybe if he gets a starting gig, maybe he does wind up being a full-time starter. But I was looking at, look, we've got Kirk Cousins actually turned around Atlanta's season and almost got them into the playoffs. They were fighting for the division there for a while. I think he's fully recovered from that Achilles injury, and I think he started to pick up that offense. But they literally are going to drop him on March 11th at like 12:01 a.m. So he's going to be a free agent. You've got like 4 or 5 other guys that are, I think,
Kyler
Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, Malik Willis. For some reason, there's still a Joe Flacco out there. I guarantee somebody's going to pick him up if they need him in a pinch. There's guys that are out there that are way more serviceable with way more experience that I think will probably go before him. And I think unless the offer is like, all right, dude, here's a second for Tyson. Okay, maybe we got to take that deal. But if it's less than that, I'm not sure the Bears are going to trade for him just because of the investment they put into him and the comfortable nature that, hey, if we need him, I'm happy with this guy, right? He's not our starter, but if we need him in a pinch, we got him.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, Kyle, for you is that Ian Cunningham actually.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, this is no longer a rumor. I mean, this is now 3 teams confirmed have called the Chicago Bears and are interested in Tyson Bagent. This guy he's getting interest from the NFL. Listen, what was the number that Malik Willis was looking for? He wants $30 million a year.
$30 million.
Yeah, listen, you guys, if you can get Tyson Bagent on your team for $4 million a year for the next 2 years, and you compare him to the other quarterbacks available, and you're like, well, none of these guys are winners of Super Bowl, so they're basically bridge quarterbacks. Like these guys, we have to use these guys for the next 2 years to compete, stay competitive, build our team, and then we'll go get our quarterback. Bagent's your best option. I mean, for $4 million a year, a guy who can start 17 games in a season for you, I mean, he's your best option. It would not surprise me at all if Tyson Bagent ends up starting on a different team in 2026. It's not in any way, shape, or form. Just because of the money, guys. It's just the money. On top of the fact that if Ben Johnson likes him, I think the rest of the league respects Ben Johnson. They respect his opinion. He obviously thinks he's a very good quarterback. I mean, probably not going to win you a Super Bowl, probably not starting caliber, but certainly somebody who could fill the gap while you're looking for your future quarterback of the future. And you can get a starting quarterback at $4 million a year. I think what's the franchise tag for quarterbacks this year? $47 million?
Yeah,
$47 million a year?
Something big.
I mean, if I'm a team looking for a guy to just fill the hole in between now and finding my quarterback, like say the Dolphins are like, well, we're not drafting a quarterback in this class because we don't think any of them are great, but we need to get a starting quarterback somewhere. I'm going with the guy who's paid $4 million a year and could probably be just as good as any of the guys who are available. I mean, I like Kirk Cousins is certainly a better quarterback than Tyson Bagent, but he's 37 years old coming off a torn Achilles. Malik Willis is good, but $30 million a year from Malik Willis? $30 million a year from Malik Willis because he looked good in 4 games last year? I'm not paying that. If I'm a team that's looking for that bridge quarterback, for me, I would have no problem giving up a third, fourth round pick for Tyson Bagent. Not a problem at all.
And you got to remember one thing: the 27 draft class of quarterbacks is a lot better than the 26th
Yeah,
class.
well,
That's going to be
100%.
headed
And
by Arch
there's teams
Manning.
waiting for that, bro. There's
So,
teams waiting for that, bro.
yeah, I mean Arch Manning, Julian Sand, Lenoris Sellers, Sam Levette, Jaden Maivia. I mean, the class next year is a lot better than this year's class. That's for damn sure.
Well, and on top of that, Sean, you heard Ben say in that interview right there, like if he's given a chance to be a starting quarterback, it would not be fair of us to keep that from him. Like if we honestly believe that a team is willing to trade for him because they want to give him a chance to be their starting quarterback, then that's something that Tyson has earned, and we would certainly not stop him from doing that. But like Jason said, it can't be a 7th round pick, man. The backup quarterback position is too important in the NFL now. It's too important now. Like if you guys want Tyson Bagent, then you better offer us something worth a damn, because a lot of people think that Tyson Bagent's some terrible backup who's like a 6th, 7th round pick guy. I don't think so. I don't think he's amazing, but for how poised he looked as a Division II quarterback in the NFL, his first season going 2-2 on the worst offensive line in football, the worst weapons in football, and possibly the worst coach in football, and Shane Waldron, to win 2 games as a rookie. That's impressive. And he's certainly somebody, if I were a team looking for a bridge quarterback, I'd keep my eye on for sure.
I think he had a 65% completion percentage too. And, you know, if you guys listen to more Ben Johnson said his number one goal, and I know we spent a lot of time talking about completion percentage, but he said his number one goal next year is to get Caleb Williams to a 65% completion percentage. He said at the combine yesterday during the interviews. So that is something they're going to work on. I want to get to some of these comments, and there's a clip that I wanted to play from Ryan Poles that kind of changed my mind about this first round of the draft. And I wanted to talk to you guys about it, but I want to hit a couple of these. I really like J2K said, if you look around recent history of backup quarterbacks that went to teams to start, every single trade value was the second. Those were in years with less demand, more supply, and worse contracts. That's a really good point. Maybe you can pull it. I don't know. I said it last week, and I mean it. No less than a third, or he's staying here because he's too valuable to this team if Caleb Williams were to go down.
And he's also cheap for us too, right? At $4 million.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It's the contract. People want the contract. Yeah. That's what they want.
Somebody made a comment too. How many people are inquiring and want to talk to him so they can kind of help figure out Ben's offense?
Yeah, I was actually gonna get to that one. Bagent for 2/3 from Atlanta. I think, Romy, that would be fantastic. It depends on how much people view his value. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously,
I think the 2/3 was a kind of like a facetious, because they kind of
it
was 2/3 already. They
honest,
2/3 round picks already.
There's 5 teams that have contacted the Bears about Tyson Bagent, so the demand is there. The demand is definitely there for him. That Relentless Mikey was the one legit question.
Yeah.
Do teams want Bagent to be that guy, or do they want Bagent to figure out Ben Johnson's scheme?
Yeah, and, I mean, Sean Dante corrected me. It wasn't the year of Waldron. It was the year of Getsy. That might be worse, bro. That might be worse, bro.
Yeah, no kidding. It definitely might be worse. Welcome back to Green Bay, Luke. Hey, what's going on, Foster? Yeah, the chat, you're killing it. We're trying to keep up with you here. I'm gonna throw this clip up there, because after this clip, and thanks to our friend at Chat Sports, he beat me to the clip, and it was just easy for me to rip it from him. So here we go.
Anyone that's watched the league long enough knows that it's, for the quarterback play, it's consistency. Can you stack years on top of each other? So we still have steps to go here. I don't want to make it like he's already in. Like he knows he's got work to do. Ben's been very clear with the vision, and I know he's going to put the time in to get to that. But that needs to get to that point. But if all of that falls into place, again, I think we strategically have to understand how does that change our formula as we move forward and make decisions in the future. But for the organization, that's a great thing to be on that path. I feel like you have a long-term quarterback solution. It makes me excited. Obviously, he's excited, Ben's excited, so it's good for everybody. I wouldn't say there's.
That just leads me to 25 and one name. Monroe Freeling, left tackle, Georgia Bulldogs. I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of Proctor out of Alabama, but there was some other parts during this combine interview where he talked about the left tackle and the left tackle being a priority. And he's been here long enough where this left tackle thing has been an issue. You thought you figured it out when you drafted Trapillo, who turned out to be the apple of the eye last year. Really, really turned out to show out on the left side better than anyone thought, including myself. Really good guy, smart guy, solid football player, and absolutely unfortunate to rupture what did he rupture again? I forgot.
Patellar tendon.
I think 46% of athletes that have that in the NFL don't ever come back.
Yeah, and that's a crazy number, and that's why people we have to look at this. And Kyle's been preaching this for years. Do everything you can to make sure Caleb Williams is okay. He can function as a quarterback in this league. And I don't know any more important position on that line than left tackle. And it's been a question mark for the Bears year after year, hand over fist. If Freeling is there at 25, just take him. The kid looks really, really good. I don't like Caden Proctor as much. I know he's a huge man, but he seems to be a little bit slow for a left tackle, where Monroe Freeling looks like he's jumping on the field, and he's a left tackle on opening day next year. Probably have some growing pains, but looks the part, feels the part. And when you watch his tape, he jumps off that left side of the line. I don't know where you guys are with this, but man, we
need a tackle. If they take a tackle at 25, I'm fine as long as it's the guy, right? I don't care when you draft a tackle. If it's in the 6th round, I couldn't care less. As long as it's a guy that's good enough. If it's in the 2nd round like Trapillo was, that's fine too. But I think we definitely need to draft a tackle this year, 100%.
Yeah, listen, for once, I'm not going to blame the Bears, because I think Trapillo was well on his way to becoming
right.
a well above average tackle. Maybe not the best in the NFL, but certainly played the part. And here we are again. It's just been a revolving door for the last 20 years at left tackle, and
ever since James Big Cat Williams.
Yeah, and I think now that the Bears have what they believe is franchise quarterback, they're starting to realize just how important that left tackle position is. And I think Ben knows that if Caleb's facing a ton of pressure because the left side of the line can't hold up, it's going to hurt the development of Caleb Williams next year. I don't know how the Bears are going to do it. I don't know, Sean, if they decide to go left tackle 25, but they have to shore up that position somehow, because to me, you guys have heard me say this 700,000 times. It's getting old. Outside of the quarterback, the left tackle is the most important position on a football field, and I'd probably go defensive end 3. But you have to protect especially if your quarterback's right-handed and that's his blind side. You have to protect your quarterback. Listen, if people are like, I don't want a left tackle 25, we need defense. Yeah, well, if Caleb Williams gets hit with a blindside hit and he's out for the season because he tears his ACL or something, you're going to be like, man, I really wish we would have had a left tackle. That would have been awesome if we had that left tackle.
And you're also going to wish we had Tyson Bagent still on the team because now your quarterback's out.
Well, I mean, like you said, Jason, if it's a full season injury, your season's done either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Sean, if the guy Freeling's there and they like him, and I understand that people are like, we got to fix this defense. Well, how about you perfect the offense first, and then you could start worrying about the defense later. The Bears are a left tackle and a star running back away from being the best offense in the NFL, in my opinion. Right now, on paper, you get him a star running back, a Jeremiah Love type guy or a Jahmyr Gibbs type guy that he had in Detroit, Ben Johnson had in Detroit, and you get a stud left tackle. I think you're talking about, on paper, possibly the best offense in the NFL with the best offensive play caller in the NFL. So listen, you guys, if you don't score points, you can't beat the other team, but you can always outscore the other team.
That's true. And yes, Foster, I did look at, I have not looked into Austin Barber. I'm familiar with the name. I've been studying so much on the defensive side, I kind of forgot about the offensive side. But after these interviews at the combine, I think I'm going to be paying a little bit more attention to these tackles in this draft. And I believe Austin Barber, if I'm not mistaken, left tackle from Florida. If I'm not, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think so. Dustin, I just brought up, I said the Bears at 25, if he's there, should draft Monroe Freeling. You jump in here a couple seconds late, but that was the guy I said. I like him a lot better than Proctor. So hopefully we can get there. I wanted to talk to you guys about one more just silly, stupid thing that came up. Bleacher Report. And I think I would lose my mind if the Bears actually made this fucking trade. I swear to God, I'd lose my fucking mind.
Look at his PFF score. It's horrible.
Buda Baker. The Cardinals receive a 3rd round pick and a 2027 4th round pick. Are you insane?
And he's getting paid like almost $19 million a year.
Who
Like,
wrote
no,
that?
thank you.
Who
That
wrote
came
that?
from Bleacher Report this week, dude.
Oh my God.
Buda Baker sucks ass, dude.
Well,
He's
he's
like
old,
40.
bro. Yeah, he was good. I'm not taking anything away from Buda. He was a very good player in the NFL, but nobody beats Father Time.
Yeah,
Buda Baker's
dude.
at the end of his run. Somebody's saying he should get 2 draft picks for him.
2 draft picks.
That's
dude. Bleacher
insane,
Report.
dude. That's insane, dude. Maybe
I'll give you
Tyson
2
Bagent.
sevens and a hot dog.
Maybe Tyson Bagent will get us 2 firsts. We can go get Buda Baker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, dude.
Dude, it was terrible when I read that. When I read that this morning or a couple days ago, I was like, dude, they should be giving us picks for taking Buda Baker from them. For the love
Yeah,
of
here's
Christ.
Buda Baker
No,
and
we
our
should
first
be
round
right-
pick.
we
Oh,
should
do
be
you wanna
writing
take-
articles.
No, just go ahead, take him.
We should be writing articles for major sports networks. I would never in a million years release an article that said Buda Baker should get 2 picks in
2
return. Dude,
picks.
that guy be lucky. The Cardinals be lucky to get a 6th-round pick for him.
Right?
That would be a good trade. If I'm the Cardinals, I'm happy with that.
And that's
I
to
get
a team that
6th-round
like
pick for
literally
him,
has
man.
no other option and needs a guy like Stat.
Yeah,
that-
if the Bears
that's
turned around
ridiculous.
and did that, I would give up at 89. Oh God, I'd lose my freaking mind. Yeah, I'm with whoever said Cam Curl. There's a couple of other free agents.
Romy said Curl. I think isn't Curl aren't they discussing a franchise tag for Curl? Hasn't that been
I
considered?
did hear. I thought we'd have more franchise tags by today, but I
Well,
guess
they get 10 days, so it's I think Thursday. Is Thursday the deadline, Sean? To franchise tag guys?
Oh,
think it's Thursday.
You know what? I have
Thursday
it
or
in-
Friday?
March 3rd tag window.
Oh, so yeah, they
17th,
they still got a couple. They still got a week. Yeah, listen, I'm not taking anything away from Buda Baker. I like Buda Baker.
He was a good player.
He was a good player. He was,
See-
and especially on a team that sucked. And he was never complained. Always the conspiracy. Came in, did his
Yeah.
job, went home. But
And I don't think
at
you're
35 years old, are you insane?
you're not getting the Kevin Byard return that you got as an aging player. So
I would much rather find a way to keep Jaquan Brisker here than sign Buda
Yeah,
Dude, his grade is
100%,
awful. He's in the bottom
Mm.
like 5% of DBs and safeties. Like, no, sorry, no.
There's who's the other guy? The other guy who's the Bears were considering. I think he's a free agent as well. He was on the. I think he was on the. He was drafted by the Jets.
gosh darn it, tip of my tongue. Oh, I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
why can't I think of his name? It's right. You guys help me out here.
You're coming to me in 10 minutes.
He-
We're gonna be doing safeties, and I'm like, blah, blah, blah.
Sean, you know what I'm talking about. I'd rather have him than Buda Baker.
Yeah, I just I saw that. And I'm
Is
like,
it the
man,
kid
you
with the
guys can't
nickname?
be serious, dude.
He was like, I think he was drafted by the Jets, right, Sean? It was 6 or 7 years ago. He was a
You know
stud.
what? I have the free agent safeties in here somewhere. Hold on. The free agent safeties in this safety. Hold on.
Jamal Adams. Jamal
Yeah, there you
Adams.
go.
Jamal
Dante
Adams, okay,
got it. Thanks, Dante. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of that name. I'd much rather have Jamal Adams, who's a free agent, than trade 2 picks for Buda Baker, dude. That's insane.
Yeah. That was stupid, man. I'm like, dude, Bleacher Report. I can't believe he put that out.
They're usually pretty good.
They
That's
are usually pretty good.
Yeah, that's really weird for Bleacher Report. I'm surprised they let that article slip through the cracks. You guys, we have I don't know if I've certainly never seen that thumbnail.
Oh, that's a badass thumbnail.
Yeah,
It
it's
was like
badass.
Tony the Tiger.
Tony White says, hey guys, you guys heard polls said Brisker is highly unlikely returning. Yeah, Sean mentioned that earlier in the show. It sounds like Brisker is certainly not going to be on the Chicago Bears in 2026, which I think we kind of all predicted, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you got
He had a great playoff run, but the rest of the season was meh.
yeah, I'm not super upset. Not to mention, man, even though he had a healthy season this year, it doesn't mean those concussions will never bite him in the ass again. Like that's something that the next team signs, I'm certainly going to consider. And if I had to pick between him and Byard, I'm taking Byard all day, man.
Oh,
Byard is
yeah.
a playmaker, man. That guy just
Hey,
makes plays, dude. He's
hey,
smart.
really quick,
His
and,
football IQ is incredible.
Tony, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, Tony, thanks for joining the show, man. We appreciate it, brother. He obviously knows. He says, "Hey, J2K, Fox, relentless."
What was that?
His next, he said, "Hey, J2K, Fox, relentless Mikey." So Tony's definitely been here before, probably just under a different name, I'm assuming.
Oh,
No worries. No
I didn't
worries.
necessarily say DJ is gone. I think he just basically left the door open that he's probably their most valuable trade chip in the offseason. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he's gone, but it wasn't like we're trading DJ Moore.
I love it, Tony. You're getting mad props.
Yeah, Tony, that's
I love it.
it's great. That's awesome. Nice, Romy.
And Kyle or Relentless, I couldn't agree with you more. Boot that piece of crap out of town.
Yeah, and real quick, not to sidetrack the show here, guys, but Mikey, I saw a post from you earlier about maybe
Yes, Mikey.
possible heart surgery. I don't know. I don't want to overextend my boundaries here. I don't know exactly what that post is about, but I hope you're doing all right, man. I hope your health is in good shape. And if that was about you, I hope everything's good, man. And God bless you, brother.
That's right, Mikey. We do 100%.
Yes, sir.
From 4 stars to us, man, right here, brother. On that note of the stadium, just a brief cliff note. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says a board agreement is in place for the Bears' new stadium in Arlington Heights. Updated legislation would allow the Bears to negotiate the amount they pay in property taxes at their new stadium site. The committee hearing will decide the schedule, and that is tomorrow. So stay tuned because that will be breaking news. And my prediction, like it's always been, is the Bears are staying in Illinois, headed to Arlington Heights, because Jason, I know we both want to bet because of this. With a certain
Jason's been saying since day one, it's all just a bunch of hoopla just to get him back in Arlington Heights. And it looks like he was right. And you know what? I will say, I do believe that if George McCaskey wasn't the sole decision maker here, I think the Bears would, if it was solely up to Kevin Warren, I think they'd be in Indiana, because I think Kevin Warren hates the politics of Illinois and he wants to make more money and pay less taxes. But if you can own your own stadium and own your own property in Arlington Heights, you get all the concessions, all the parking. Even if they give them some ridiculously high property tax number, the Bears are still going to make an absolute ton of money in Arlington Heights. So
well, that bill that they're wanting to pass is actually called the pilot bill, or the pilot whatever it is, which is payment in lieu of tax. And that's what they're looking for. I think the Bears are looking to pay like lump sums every year and just have it flat rated out. And I don't think, honestly, I think it's a good deal because it's not just going to affect the Bears. It's going to affect other future big businesses. That's going to allow companies like Amazon and whoever to come into Illinois and say, hey, let's build this because we can have now tax certainty. And I also think that the tax bill that they just passed really was a stadium bill that Bill 27 or whatever, House Bill 27 in Indiana, which still technically hasn't passed because the House of Representatives changed a few things, and now the Senate has to sign off and then come back. They're done Thursday or Friday, but they can have an extended session if they wanted. That bill, I think Indiana's governor all along wanted that bill, but for a different reason, not for the Bears. I think that he used the Bears to push that through so they can get some newer stadiums and maybe even entice some of these up-and-coming sports to build stadiums in Indiana, because really there's a reason why birds don't fly over Indiana. It's because there's nothing we're shitting on. They really need the help. Illinois does too, and I think this pilot bill is good for all of Illinois. If we want jobs and we want tax revenue, that's how we're going to get it.
Hey, and really quick, Mikey, that's great news, man.
Certified badass.
Yeah, Bernard, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for joining us, brother.
What's up, Brando? Haven't seen you for a minute, man. Thanks for checking
Yeah. Tony, we talked about this the other day. That's Bernard Johnson, his last ditch effort to keep the Chicago Bears in downtown Chicago, and he's
once they build a stadium in Arlington Heights, no artist is going to want to go there.
Like Bernard, you are everybody else in the world knows the Bears aren't staying on the lakefront, except for somehow Bernard Johnson, who just so happens to be
I know, right?
Chicago. Like, bro, that ship has sailed, man. They spent $190 million on property in Arlington Heights, and if they were going to leave Arlington Heights, it would be the silver platter deal they've gotten from Indiana. They would not be going back to Chicago. Not to mention, the Park District has not worked with the Bears in any way, shape, or form for the last 20 years, man. Last 20 years. I think what did the Bears wanted, 20% of the concessions, right? That's what they asked for. And they were like, no. I'm like, all right, well, then we're leaving.
Now, the Bears are definitely getting backdoored in Soldier Field. That's for sure.
But they have the entire time they've been there, and they've really never owned their own stadium because they played at Wrigley before that. So this is a big move for the organization. Much needed. Should have been done when they were doing the remodel in 2013 or whatever it was.
And here,
it's huge for us too, guys, because I think the experience is going to be a lot more enjoyable than it was.
Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you too. If there's any truth that George McCaskey lost his mind, I'm very happy George got another mark in my book because look, I'm going to be a Bears fan. They were going to keep the name. All these people, Hammond Bears, all this bullshit. It was never going to happen. They were going to be the Chicago Bears. They were just going to play in Indiana. I didn't want them in Indiana. They're still my team. They'd still be the team that I follow, the team that I love to the day that I die. Very happy to hear it seems that we're staying right here where we belong, the pride and joy of Illinois.
Well, even
right
closer
here
to us.
in Illinois.
Even that's a 20-minute drive for you, Sean. They're about to be like in your backyard, bro.
You know what though? We got Bruce that lives out there. We got our buddy Ben who lives out there. We got our buddy Rich who lives out there, and they're all really close to where the stadium would be. So
what's great is, dude, you can get faster at the game, leave your car there, and then Uber back, dude. We can Uber there for like $30 and get our car back the next Monday. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
I'm bringing my car to one of their driveways. I'm a tailgate in a driveway.
Well, one of the things the Bears proposed when they first started talking about Arlington Heights a year and a half ago is that they would build like basically a skyline tunnel from the train station to the stadium, so you would never even have to endure the snow or the rain. Like it's going to be for us. Sorry for the people on the south side of Chicago, but for us, Arlington Heights would be the most convenient spot ever. Bruce, you could walk there, bro.
Yeah, Bruce would be good to go. Man. I am relieved. I am relieved because I agree with the fact that I understand why they did it, and I get all of the rigmarole, I guess.
Bruce, we're parking at your house. We're not parking near your house. Get out of here.
The Bears belong in Illinois, period, point blank. They don't belong in Indiana. So this, I'll tell you.
Why, Sean? Do you think they're like the pride and joy?
That's what's in my wallet. It says pride and joy. It has a bear head under it. They're my pride and joy. No, I'm just so happy, man. And again, Jay, you and I, we made this bet with Timmy, what, a year ago, over a year ago?
3 years ago.
Yeah, that this was going to be Arlington Heights. And I never really doubted it. I did get a little fishy or a little shaky, I guess, over the past couple of weeks, but I was still trying not to believe it at all. So. And yes,
it's because it's one source media and the teams and both politicians, everybody involved is just saying whatever is coming out of their mouth or thoughts, just and then we're all like, wait, that doesn't make sense, but I guess that's happening now. Then you find out a day later, oh yeah, that's not what's happening at all. It's ridiculous. If you really just look at it for what it is, get all the gobbledygook out of the way. If you're a business, you want to own your property because then you can do more with it, right? You're also going to own the surrounding properties. So now you're a landlord and you're getting revenues that way as well. The value of the team will double. So from like 8 billion or 9 billion to like 18 billion, like it's insane. Why would you move away from that? I understand tax revenue and all this good stuff, but that was their goal. That is their plan. I don't see why you would pivot away from it now, other than to use, which I don't blame them for, to use Indiana as a negotiating tool, which is fine. They're a business. They should be doing that. They should be trying to get the best deal possible. They're not going to transfer that deal onto us and the ticket prices, but whatever, it is what it is. Well, I mean, one more thing we got to reconsider, no matter where that stadium is, whether it's in Indiana, Iowa, or in Arlington Heights, ticket prices are going to be like on average $500 now. So,
well, I'll tell you this: when this Indiana deal started going down, and Mike Braun, the governor, spoke the other day, and he talked about his plan, and he was like, "Oh, it's going to be 1 cent," but then he went in with, well, we want to start getting paid back. So from everything you do, we need X amount of dollars back till we get back everything we gave you. Now I'm starting to think like, oh, well, if you, like Jay just said, if you go to Arlington Heights, it's all yours. This makes a lot more sense. So the deal sounded good on the surface, but the Bears were renting and paying back the whole time they were there. The deal wasn't that great. That's the way I was looking at it anyways.
Oh, Brennan was so kind to put J.B. Pritzker's combine times
measurables
up at the screen.
I think that vertical was nice. I would have went 1/4 of an inch.
Yeah, I was going to say you might be a little exaggerating on that.
You know, they exaggerate in these things sometimes. Really quick, before we get into our draft room and our safeties, the Bears were busy at the combine today. And if you've been following 4-Star Chicago sports, everybody that they've met with, we have done a profile on this very show. And I am very happy with every name on this list, with the exception of maybe Zion Young. And maybe it has something to do with the name and the school he went to, but He's the only one that didn't make me really happy on this list, but it was nice to see. It was nice to see Jacob Rodriguez, and if you listen to his interview he had at the Combine, he said it was awesome meeting Charles Tillman and getting to talk to Tillman about the peanut punch. He said his meeting with the Bears was fantastic, along with Anthony Hill. He said his meeting was outstanding. Cassius Howell said the exact same thing. He said it felt very well. He spent the majority of the time with the Bears talking about run defense and his emphasis on what he can do in being a run stopper. So that, and I know Kyle is head over heels for this guy, so that was great news. And of course, you had the big man, Caden McDowell, the run stuffer, the guy who could get to the quarterback and change the complexion of that line. As Zion Young said, he was very impressed after his meeting with the Bears. He said he would be looking forward to reuniting with one Luther Burden. And then Peter Woods says he's not met with the Bears, but the interesting thing about Peter Woods, he did say, is he would really like to play for the Chicago Bears. I would also like Peter Woods to play for the Chicago Bears myself. Boys, thoughts on any of these guys from that they visited with today?
I will obviously. I think we like all those picks because we literally did a draft profile on every single one of those guys. But I don't know where they're going to go after hearing them talk. Though I really don't think, guys, and I think Dennis Allen is still pushing for it too. I don't think they're going to make any moves on the defensive line in free agency. I think if they do anything, it's going to be in the draft. I think they're going to have to give Dio another year. And honestly, Montez Sweat had a fairly decent year. I think if Dio had been playing better the first half of the season, Montez might have had some, more improved numbers because his numbers definitely improved once Austin Booker got in there and started playing well. So I think they're gambling on, those two injuries to Dio, which by the way is his second Achilles tendon injury. Sorry. And then, they're waiting for Shamar to come in. So I think the defensive line is going to look pretty much the same unless they draft another guy, which I think you should always do anyways. You should always be drafting offensive and defensive linemen. Worst case scenario, you can trade them on, but we've said it a million times before. I know you guys are fans in the chat there. You've seen it before too. Guys are going to get hurt in those lines. It's just too brutally violent of a position to play where guys are going to get hurt and you need that backup. I mean, we tried out like 4 different guys at left tackle this year. So, we definitely need 5, I think, right? God, what was it, 4 or 5? We started off with what's his nuts. He played the first 4 games, then they let him go. And then we went to Theo, and then we went to Trapillo, and then we went back to Theo, and then he got hurt, and then we put in Tooney. Anyways, I think, honestly, I would love, the more and more I think about it, I would love McDonald because I'm thinking maybe the interior is what is going to help our edges more than anything else, unless we can afford a Max Crosby. I think that interior line, you get a run stuffer who can penetrate into that pocket. You don't even need the sacks. Just stop the run, penetrate, and disrupt that pocket. You're going to start seeing a lot more sacks from the Bears.
Yeah, I don't have much. I like all those guys, but I know J2K just said Cassius Howell probably wouldn't be a great fit.
Yeah. I was gonna zip that up there for you, Kyle.
You guys, if I'm the Bears and Cassius Howell is available at 25, after watching the tape, that's my guy. That's who I'm taking, man. I absolutely love that guy. I think he's a force to be reckoned with. I think he's a lot of God-given talent, and he's a hard worker and loves football and loves hitting people. He's violent. That's the guy I'm taking. But Sean, that list you just put up there. Good start for the Bears.
Any one of those 25?
Great start. I mean, there's not a player on that list that is not going to be a good football player in the NFL. So good for Ryan.
Zion Young.
Sean, somebody in the chat said, Sean, your Mizzou bias is showing. You guys, James
said he's biased. He does not care.
James says, I don't really understand why you guys are so fixated on DNs. DT is what we need the most. I think we need both, right?
Well,
need both, right? I agree that defensive tackle is what we need the most. I agree with that.
If I can say this.
I thought I said McDonald.
Well, if you listen to our esteemed general manager, he said he is more impressed with the defensive ends than the defensive tackles in this particular draft. He said it at the podium just yesterday. So maybe there's something to a D end, or Kyle, maybe he's just
lying through his teeth.
Oh,
come on, man! You told me yesterday he's just playing games.
Yeah, well, dude, these GMs try to throw each other off. Mikey says, "Ba-da-ba-ba-ba." I'm loving it. Yeah, I mean, listen, if any of the Bears drafted any of those guys right there, and that's what Dennis Allen thought he needed to run his scheme here, and that was the best player available at 25, I'm not complaining until I see I'll be first to admit, guys, I didn't love the Colson Loveland pick, and it bit me in the ass. So until I want to see this coaching staff, obviously knows what they're doing. They're all outside of Ben Johnson. Most of this coaching staffs are veterans, especially Dennis Allen. He knows what he needs to run his scheme, his system. If one of those guys is the guy he decides he needs, I'm all for it, man. Go get him.
And one more thing before we head on. The Bears have only met with, Jason, you ready for this? The Bears have only met with one offensive player this combine season so far. Jason, give me the name.
Barika Pinu.
Barika Pinu. I love it. I love it. This guy looks like he could be a player. I'm kind of on the train of just doing some due diligence here in the draft with him. 191 carries last year, 1,005 rushing yards, 5.3 yards per carry, 20 rushing touchdowns, 31 forced missed tackles, 567 yards after contact. He also showed some legitimate receiving value, 247 receiving yards, 12.4 yards per reception, 1 receiving touchdown. His profile is physical, efficient finisher, versatility to stay on the field for multiple downs, 213 pounds. He runs with pad consistent. He's consistently falling forward. That is a reflection of the 567 yards after contact. He does have deceptive speed, not the fastest guy in the world. He's not an elite make you miss runner in space. He's efficient in tight areas. As we said, he did force 31 missed tackles. So functional elusiveness, especially in congested traffic. As we said, some receiver ability. Top end speed is probably an area for development. Don't think he has it. He's not a guy that's going to take it to the house on you. Fit in the Bears offense, short yardage, goal line weapon, complementary skill set to Kyle Monungai. Just a guy. Right now, he has a projection of RB2, RB3 early in his career with upside to become a dependable committee contributor on a team like Chicago, where you could carve out a role as a short yardage goal line specialist, early down rotational back, play action, screen option, special teams contributor. For a late day 3rd round pick, we struck gold with Kyle Monungai. Maybe this guy is another one of those guys if the Bears choose to go that route later in the draft. So watching his tape, what do you guys think of his tape here?
Dude, I read his draft profile. He's supposed to be a bruiser, but he's not a bruiser. He doesn't have very good lateral movement. His speed is meh.
Yeah.
I mean, you're basically getting another bruiser to do what Kyle Monungai does. You know what I mean? If you're drafting to replace one of your running backs, you're drafting to replace DeAndre Swift. No,
yeah,
I mean, that's
I agree.
what I would think.
I agree.
Unless you just wind up with a super stud, and then you take him. Who cares? But I don't know why they talk to this kid, because I don't see his fit. His hands seemed pretty decent, which is okay, but the Bears running backs are fairly decent out of the backfield too, catching the ball. So I don't know that he does anything to improve this running back room except for depth. You get him in the 7th round. Okay, I guess whatever.
Steve says he met with Green Bay as well, and J2K followed that up with, you guys, most prospects meet with most teams. So I certainly wouldn't be.
I thought it was interesting because he's the only offensive player the Bears have met with thus far. I don't know if they'll meet with more. Hopefully they're left tackles. But Kyle, to go into that, he has met with the Buffalo Bills, the Atlanta Falcons, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Browns, and the Saints, and their team up north in the green and yellow.
Yeah, I just Prophet says he's almost guaranteeing Jadarian Price at 25.
I would love it. I would love it.
He says he is the Prophet, and he's calling it right now. I don't know, man.
I couldn't agree more.
Like I said earlier in the show, if you feel like your defense is going to need more than one offseason to get perfected, then you're like, well, let's finish the offense first. And you think that Jadarian Price is your guy at 25, and you think that puts this offense over the top, and he's your Jahmyr Gibbs, then go get him. But at some point, the defensive line needs some massive work, man.
I still think. I mean, we'll see where Price goes because Price right now, last time I looked, was carrying a late second round, early third round value. I'm sure after he goes to this combine, that's going to jump up to the mid second round. So if the Bears did want him, they're either going to have to trade up or draft him at 25, or trade that 25, get to the early part of the second round and pick him up. I do believe he's going to jump. And I also believe that with Caden McDowell, for a man his size, his athletic ability is off the charts for a 330 pound, 6'4" giant of a man. His athleticism, I think, is going to blow some people away. And everyone has him at 25. I think he could creep up, in between 18 and, 25 if someone takes him just before the Bears. So that's just me, just watching him on tape and the way he moves for his size. He's going to be a good get for somebody. That's my personal opinion again.
Sean, you want to read a couple of these comments?
Here's the deal.
Amiga is gone, so we don't have to worry about him anymore.
Yeah, he is gone. He is gone. Those are Passanier is gone too, I believe.
Yeah, so is the guy that they traded for, right? Is that the guy from the Browns? The guy, the defensive end they traded for? He's gone too. I'm not even gonna try that guy. I hate that.
I'm not sure which comment you're referring to Brandon.
He said, we have a moment of silence for the Canadians hockey teams.
Oh my God, I wanted to open the show with a congratulations. I completely forgot.
I was going to finish the show with it, but we're here now, right?
We can talk about it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Sorry, Brandon, I missed it. I was reading a profile there. I didn't quite see it. But anything else about the combine or anything else you boys want to talk about before we jump into what I feel is one of the biggest needs on this football team? Desperately, I think the Bears do have one safety under contract at the moment.
I don't believe so.
I think they do. Hold on. Let me look.
The four starters are not under contract.
The first starters are not. They might not. I could be wrong.
That might be some practice squad guy.
I thought I read that.
Brennan says passing, not going to pass rush here anymore. That's for sure. And Tom follows it up with, did you read the TPS report? Office space, guys. Office space. James says, unless we trade for Garrett or Crosby, we don't need to sign a free agent or trade a defensive end. Or we do. Yeah, we don't need to sign it. We have enough mediocre defensive ends on this roster. I don't disagree, James. I just don't think unless you trade for one of those studs, I don't think the talent in free agency is worth. I think you're going to have another Montez Sweater-Deo on your team. I was like, look around. None of these. I mean, I would be open to a Khalil Mack reunion if the price is very right. Very right.
Yeah. Flex, as you say, give me a DT with the news that came out that you're going to miss your left tackle for a year and possibly career-ending threatening injury here. You're not interested in a left tackle and getting that anchor? Because when you look at these teams, there's a couple positions teams don't normally let go. One is your dominant three technique. The other one is your left tackle. The other one is your quarterback, and the other one is a defensive end. So, and when it comes to the defensive ends, guys, with Austin Booker and Montez Sweat still here, and Austin Booker developing, would you guys agree or disagree, because those two guys are here, that DT is a bigger need, even though that's not what Poles suggested yesterday in his press conference?
Yeah, I said that earlier, but I'm also not going to hold. I think defensive tackle is the biggest need for the Bears. We've said this. Jason said it a couple minutes ago. I think pressure up the middle makes the defensive ends look a lot better. But at the same time, I'm also not a huge fan of, hey, well, this is the fifth best defensive tackle on the board, and that's the best defensive end right there. But let's take the tackle because we really need one. I'm not a fan of that at all. Add studs and your team will get better. Add stars, star power, and your team will get better, regardless if you still have a hole on the roster. If you add star power, the defense will get better.
Yeah, and you know what? You're right. You got Dejo, and you have Turner coming back. I mean, your defensive end position. I mean, maybe you're not getting what you want out of it, but you're going to keep adding to that position and paying a lot of money.
Well, and you guys, there's a very good chance Shamar Turner ends up being an end. There's a chance. There's a chance that he ends up being a full-time end. I mean, you remember he started this when he first came in. He started as a tackle, and it didn't take them long to move him to edge. I don't know if that's a permanent fix or if they're just trying to see where he fits best and trying to use him all over the place, get him used to being versatile. But it looked like before he got hurt, edge, he was more comfortable at edge to me personally. Now, he's gonna, you guys, we all know he's gonna add a couple pounds this offseason, right? They're gonna put him in the NFL weight room, conditioning room. They always add 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds of muscle. So maybe they just think he's a little green to play defensive tackle. But if you say Austin Booker's supposed to get better, correct? We all believe that Austin Booker's probably gonna get better.
I believe he's a Jayhawk.
I think he'll have,
He's gonna get better.
Yeah, I think he'll have. Jesus, Sean. I think he'll have more sacks last season than he did this season. I think that Montez Sweat's pretty consistent. He's going to get you your 10 sacks every season. He'll create pressures. If Shamar Turner if Dale gets a little bit better, if Dale can get you 7, 8 sacks, and Shamar Turner can get you another 6, 7 sacks, then yeah, defensive tackle is definitely more important because you're not bringing Billings back. It's not happening. Javon Dexter has been disappointing. I'm not going to go as far as people say he's a bad player. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a good rotational piece.
Yeah,
he's okay. He's a rotational piece. And then Grady Jarrett's going to be 34 years old now. I mean, yeah, defensive tackle is probably the biggest hole in this roster right now as it stands. But that doesn't mean you take a worse tackle than. I wouldn't take the 5th best defensive tackle instead of the best defensive end because I need a tackle. I think that's
right. I'm gonna throw a name out there for you. If you take the perfect draft for me right now, as we sit here, and this is just me, you guys may not like these players, and that's fine. That's just my personal opinion. Monroe Freeling at 25, Kyle Lewis falls to you at 57, and then in your 3rd round. Maybe you take Price if he's there. If not, maybe you can take a guy like a Dominique Orange, and all of a sudden you have your DT, your LT, and you have a hybrid that can play 5 positions across the line.
I think the Bears value the versatility because they are building a team. And while you're doing that, you can't, Kyle, you said this a million times before, you can't just pick. We don't have the ability to draft the best player at every position every round, right? It's just not going to happen. So you need players that can play multiple positions, even if they're, average good at all of them. It's just going to help during injuries. And you know what? It's going to keep offenses honest or defenses honest, depending on what side of the ball you're on, because you don't know where this guy's coming from, right? And when it comes to blitzing and rushing the passer, when they can't tell where the rush or the blitz is coming from, where the pressure is coming from, that's when your defense is successful. So, me personally, I would go the versatility route.
Yeah, and if I'm certainly at some point, Jason, you're like, you can't say the best player available to you is a quarterback. Well, you're not going to draft a quarterback because you've got names. But first round, outside of like a right tackle, a quarterback, a nickel corner, outside of those guys, first round, I'm taking the best player available. When you get to that 2nd and 3rd round, then you could start going, well, you know what? We need a defensive tackle because then the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round is where they're kind of crapshoots. Like they're all probably going to be good players, but you don't know who's going to be the best. So you just can
you're hoping you're hitting a home run on a guy
you have faith in your scouting staff and hope that you found a defensive like Ozzie Trapillo. How many people were talking about Ozzie Trapillo before the draft last year?
Nobody.
I don't think I heard that name once. Not once. And the Bears drafted him in the 2nd round, and people were irate. They were like, "Oh my God, we drafted a right tackle to play left." Here he is. Here he was. He looked like a pretty damn good left tackle at the end of the season. There, he looked pretty good, man. And just to keep doing that, Bears. Keep doing that shit. You'll be all right.
Hey, and James, just expand to me what's the what's the hate for Dominique Orange as a later round development guy? Are you calling him Zach Pickens maybe or better than Zach Pickens, worse than Zach Pickens? Because the Bears can't get much worse than that. I'm just curious, man, where your head's at on that. I mean, I don't think he's Aaron Donald, but I don't think he's Zach Pickens either.
What's really sad about Zach Pickens is it was in the scouting report, man. Like this guy was overvalued when he was recruited in college, and he wasn't as good as they thought he was going to be. And then he came to the NFL, and a lot of experts were like, "This guy's probably not as good as people think he's going to be. He's got an impressive frame, but it didn't really pan out in college. It's probably not going to pan out in the NFL." And the Bears picked him. But now that Ryan Poles has Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson in his ear, I think it's going to change a little bit. I also like Jeff King a lot, guys. I know a lot of people in the Bears fans probably are like, I don't give a shit about the assistant GM, but for a guy who has been director of scouting for the Bears and made it through 5 GM changes for them to keep him in the building and be like, we still like this guy a lot. I think he's going to be a lot of help for Ryan Poles.
And I'll be honest,
Sean James says Orange is an extremely slow processor.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I haven't watched enough tape on Orange to throw my hat in the ring here. I'll go watch them today, but I don't know much about Orange. So
I think that when it comes to players like Dominic Orange that need development a little bit, when you have this coaching staff in place, these line coaches in place, I don't feel as bad. And I think that maybe even a guy like Zach Pickens under this regime, you could probably get more out of. Not saying he would have been great in all pro or anything like that, but I think development is a strength of this staff. You saw it last year in every draft pick that we had, and I think you'll continue to see it. I think you'll be able to take a couple of risks and probably get something more out of it.
And Sean, every draft you're going to have your Ruben Hippolyte. That happens. That can happen every year.
Yeah,
you can't nail them all, man. So it's a little concerning because Ruben Hippolyte wasn't projected to be drafted. So that's the reason he wasn't projected to be drafted, is because he sucks. But
that's kind of the problem.
There's going to be one every year that's disappointing. Every single year you're going to draft somebody who's disappointed. Sean, earlier somebody in the chat asked if you guys were comfortable with Luke Newman as the backup center.
Luke Newman didn't do anything to make me. I thought he did pretty well last year when he was given the opportunity. You know,
it's going to be hard to beat out Dahlman, and as long as Dahlman centers usually have a tendency to stay fairly healthy.
Yeah, Jason, he was saying in case of a Dahlman injury, are you comfortable with?
He's fine, but again, he's one of those guys where you can't carry 2 stud centers, right? It's really hard to carry. So if your center goes out, it's probably going to hurt your offense severely.
To Sean's point, let's see how Ben Johnson and Dan Rocher and this coaching staff develop Luke Newman. Maybe he ends up being a damn good guard or center in the future. I don't know. I certainly haven't seen enough of him. What did he play in this regular season? 10 snaps? He certainly didn't play a lot.
Luke Newman? No, he can't. Yeah, when he came in though, he was serviceable. And you know what? You didn't hear? You didn't hear his name, and that's what you want out of lineman.
That's a good start.
You don't want to hear their name. So, and you know what? When he was in the preseason, we all looked away. I know your brother was really big on him. Turned around like, wow, man, he was really impressive. And you know what? It doesn't matter if it's preseason, regular season. Just show you got some chops out there, and I think you did that for me. You know.
So, yeah, guys, Steve, the Packers fan, said he wants to do a mock draft with us. I'm assuming he would like us to also draft the Packers players as well. Yeah, Steve, I don't know how that would turn out for you, but we'll give him a bunch of undrafted free agents the first 3 rounds.
I'll tell you, we are going to do some mock drafts here in the very near future.
Yeah, for sure. And
I just kind of want to get through this combine and kind of let these things.
Let the experts figure out where these guys are really probably projected to go, and then we'll start doing mock drafts, and you guys will be heavily involved, man. The last year when we did them, we did one with the chat where the chat basically picked the entire draft, and we do a couple amongst ourselves. But yeah, you guys will definitely be involved, man. We will have some mock drafts coming up soon. But we also
scouts see all these like expert picks for mock drafts and stuff. I think they laugh. I think they're like, these guys don't know what they're talking about. If I'm being perfectly honest with you. They may say, hey, this guy's good, but there's general consensus players. But once you get past that first round, and even really the first 5 or 6 picks, nothing ever happens the way anybody thought it was going to happen.
Yeah, the only person on 4-Star Chicago Sports who nailed anything was Dustin with Luther Burden at 39. He said the Bears are going to draft Luther Burden, and that's one is impressive. That's impressive. Getting one is impressive.
Yeah, after the top 5, top 6, top 7, maybe top 8, maybe even top 10. It gets difficult, man.
No, Steve says, no, I'll do the Packers. I want you guys to embarrass me.
We'll have you on the show for a mock draft, Steve. How about that?
Yeah, and I think
what's going on, brother?
I think we all knew the possibilities of Colson Lovin at 10 because the Bears had shown interest, but I certainly did not think that was going to be the pick, guys. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you.
Hey, we got to get into these because we're running a little long in the tooth. We're going to have to fly.
Yeah, Sean, do you think that the Bears should draft a safety this year?
I really do. I really do. And depending on where one of these safeties falls,
every
Jason,
time.
What'd you say?
Every time, bro.
What's that?
You're supposed to be like, yeah, you know what? I think they should draft a safety. I think would be a good pick at 25. I've got his profile right here for you.
I actually do.
That's the transition.
You want to start it off, Jay? Or you want me to start it off?
Go ahead, Sean. You start it off.
All right, I'm going to start off with this guy because I love underdog stories and I love people like a JJ Watt, 2-star recruit who
Sean,
puts
real
in the
quick.
work.
Sorry, Sean. Before you get it, Howie R Bears. What's up, man? How you
Yeah,
doing, brother? We're actually about to talk about Genesis Smith in a minute here, man. Thanks
we
for joining the
are.
show. We appreciate you, brother.
But
Sorry,
this
Sean.
guy is one of the two safeties we're going to talk about from Arizona. It's Trey Stucks. I actually am in love with this kid's story, man. A zero recruit walk on at the University of Arizona, all the way to what he is now. And he is projected a first round pick in the NFL draft this year, quite possibly, if not at the end of the first round. They are talking about he will be in this draft. He developed into a defensive chess piece capable of playing across the secondary at high level. Experience. And again, when you talk about versatility is what Dennis Allen loves. 503 snaps as a safety, 1,174 snaps in the slot, and 943 as a boundary corner. He offers a rare alignment flexibility and scheme diversity. Absolutely love this kid. He did miss 2024 with an ACL injury, so he only did play 10 games this year recovering from that injury. But in those 10 games, wow, did he really put it up. 34.4 passer rating allowed, second lowest among Big 12 cornerbacks at a minimum of 120 snaps, and 88.9 coverage grade, third among Big 12 safeties, 2,674 career snaps across 3 secondary spots. Just a versatile hybrid piece that the Chicago Bears look for. What do you get? You get a plug-and-play first-day scheme fit for Dennis Allen in this. He's a schematic matchup proof. However you want to put him on the field, he can do it. Something that they love, something that I love. If you get Stucks and maybe you get a Kyle Lewis and now you have a Kyler Gordon, man, you have versatile chess pieces all over the defense. This guy, he's a tight end eraser. He does a lot of things good, man. He's a good physical downhill tackler as well. He can be money and sub defender packages. Love this kid. Check him out. We got some film going on him right now. It's a little bit of a long one. Hope you like what you saw. Don't have a lot of time to hang out here because we ran a little long in the tooth. So that's what we got on this wonderful story. 0-star walk-on to first team, possible top 50 pick in the draft. Trade on Stucks. Who you boys got? Oh, hold on.
Kyle, go ahead, bud.
Sean, real quick, the chat is just gushing over Sonny Styles right now. Just thought you should know that, Sean, because you guys, Sean, that was the first guy Sean talked about this offseason.
I love Sonny Styles is the best player outside of probably Jeremiah Love in this draft, and yes, better than Avril Reese. I don't care what the fucking experts say.
Also, not going to be anywhere available.
Yeah, not gonna be 25. Yeah, Sonny Styles. I think if anything, he's gonna move up. I think he's gonna be a top 10 pick. Yeah, Sean. My first guy I got is my favorite of the three I'm doing. His name is Michael Taff out of Texas. He's 6 foot, 189 pounds. I'd say the biggest complaint of his is that he's a little bit undersized. I think people would like him to be closer to 200, 210, somewhere in there. But this guy is a absolute coverage machine. He's projected NFL position by Draft Buzz is a nickel safety or free safety. His 40 time is a 4.55. He's projected to go in the mid-second round. So this is somebody you'd be looking at if you didn't draft a safety in the first round. Games played in college, 48 snaps, 2018. His 2024 statistics, he had 16 games played, 78 tackles, 40 of them solo, 5.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 10 passes defended. 2025 stats dipped a little bit because he only played 10 games, but he almost had the same amount of tackles. 70 tackles, 38 solo, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, and only 1 pass defended. So due to the injury in his 2025 season, his stats did drop a little bit in terms of passes defended, but his Draft Buzz overall grading is an 80 out of 100. His tackling is an 80. This guy's just sound all across the board. Tackling 80 out of 100, run defense 80 out of 100, coverage 100 out of 100, zone coverage 93 out of 100, and man and press coverage 100 out of 100. So this is a guy who would fit into Dennis Allen's scheme very well. He loves playing man and press coverage. His NFL comparisons are even better, guys. Andrew Makuba from the Eagles and Xavier Watts from the Falcons, 2 guys who showed last year that they're going to be absolute studs in the NFL. that when it comes to coverage, you guys, this guy is absolutely elite. Some of his strengths on Draft Buzz Scouting Report or coverage instincts are off the charts. Reads quarterback eyes from depth with the kind of anticipation that allows him to jump routes before the ball is halfway out. And his zone recognition has been elite level for 2 straight seasons at Texas. This guy is also an amazing story, you guys. Go to watch his film, but if you get a chance to check him out, read his story. He had a scholarship offer from Rice. He turned it down because he was offered a walk-on from Texas. He was a walk-on. He ended up becoming an All-American. He's an absolute stud. He commands the pre-snap operation like a defensive quarterback, communicating coverage checks, passing off motions, and aligning teammates with a poise and authority that belies his walk-on roots. He is also a leader on the field. Everybody who's talked about him has said it. The only thing that's kind of stinks about him, man, and I love him a lot, is that he would probably be a better replacement for Kevin Byard rather than Jaquan Brisker. And I think if the Bears are going to re-sign one of those two, it's probably going to be Byard. More of his strengths, fluid mover in his back pedal with balanced transitions when flipping his hips, mirrors routes from 2 high shells and stays connected to receivers through the break without wasted movement or false steps. This guy absolutely tattoos himself to slot receivers, tight ends, and running backs, man. It's almost impossible to get separation off of him, man. I think there's a good chance this guy moves up in the early second round. Ball production speaks for itself with 7 career interceptions, and the catches are clean. Tracks the football over his shoulder naturally and plays through the receiver's hands at the catch point without drawing flags. When I did watch his footage, guys, one thing I noticed is when he was in high school, he also played receiver. So this is a guy who's used to tracking the ball. Some of his weaknesses, something I mentioned earlier, 193 pounds. His frame raises real concerns about absorbing punishment near the line of scrimmage and shedding blocks from tight ends or pulling guards. He gets swallowed up by large blockers and gap schemes and too often ends up on the ground rather than stacking and shedding at the point of attack. Recovery speed is limited when beaten off the line in man coverage. His speed is functional, but it does not leave margin for error when he has to chase vertically against NFL caliber speed. He does struggle a little bit with speedy receivers. And then the biggest complaint of his when it comes to his weaknesses, 2024 season saw 19 missed tackles and 89 attempts for a 21.3 miss rate. And while 2025 was significantly better, the body of work raises questions about consistency and his wrap-up mechanics against shifty targets in space. Now, guys, I watched a lot of his tape today. Most of it was his highlights, so you're not going to see many bad plays in his highlights. He looked like a good sound tackler to me, and it was his 2025 tape, so I think that's something he's definitely improved on. But once again, he is a little bit smaller for the NFL at 189 pounds. So certainly if you get a bigger receiver like a DK Metcalf type guy, he's probably going to miss tackles here and there. But if you're talking about a guy in terms of just sound coverage, a guy like Sean, you said the Bears struggled mightily last year against tight ends, the guy who can fix that problem for you day one. It's him, man. His coverage skills are absolutely amazing. He's instinctive. He's smart. His football IQ is high. And like I said, if you get a chance, go read his story. The reason he wears the number 16, it's one of the coolest stories you'll ever hear, guys. He lost one of his friends in a car accident. The guy who basically convinced him to walk on to Texas ended up wearing his number for the rest of the season. Absolute badass. I would love to see him. You see that was his old number there, 36, when he first got to Texas. He ended up changing it. But I would love to see this guy in the Bears if he's still there in the second round. And I know he's not, like I said, it's not ideal because you're probably going to have to find a more true box safety than you are free safety. But this is a guy who could certainly help the Bears become better defense day one. No doubt about it.
And really quick, guys, if you guys, like I just wrote down Prophet, Takario Davis, I believe Washington Huskies, write them down because we had Dante last year give us Jahade Walker, and none of us even heard of Jahade Walker. Now he's got a 3-year contract for the Chicago Bears game catch against the Packers. Like, come on, man. So throw some names out there for us, guys. I'm going to write them down, and I'm definitely give you props if they pan out on draft day for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, and just you guys know, by the way, before I forget, I looked at every single safety on Draft Buzz. I know you guys did most of them. By the time I started picking my guys, you guys taking most of the top. The coverage grade of 100 and man press coverage grade of 100 were the highest graded coverage safeties on Draft Buzz. So definitely really a guy who's not getting enough love.
Names that you guys like at safety. So basically what we did is we picked some guys that we like at the safety position. But we want to hear the guys that you guys like as well. So if you have any names, throw them out there. I'll put together a draft profile, throw it at 4starchicagosports.com, put it on our Facebook page. I've been doing this for about a week now, and I will definitely support our chat and our community and give some nice write-ups for the guys that you like as well, because it's not all about us. It's all about you.
Go ahead, Jason.
All righty. So I'll start her off with the USC Trojan, Mr. Bishop Fitzgerald. The 5'11", 205-pound Trojan actually was a high school quarterback that had some trouble during the COVID year finding offers in college as a QB. So he wound up playing at the JUCO level for his first 2 seasons of eligibility and did it actually as a converted safety. Now, he immediately made a name for himself there as a ball hawk. His freshman year in JUCO, he had 50 tackles, 8 pass breakups, 6 interceptions, and 1 of them was a pick 6. Those stats made him the number 1 JUCO safety in the country per 247 Sports. He then transferred to NC State. We racked up another 5 interceptions and another 16 pass breakups. All of that production paid off when USC came calling. In 2025, had another 5 picks in just 10 games. By the way, I think he also had like 2.5 tackles for loss and a sack. Now, you watch the tape and you'll see a pretty raw tackler, which makes sense since he's a converted quarterback into a safety, but he makes up for it with his positioning and his eyes. He has a QB eye for routes, but also has a QB technique for tackles. It can be coached out of him, I'm hoping, but you'll see more than once that he does get out of position in the open field, tends to go for the feet more than the shoulders. This lack of aggression may hurt him in the NFL against players that jump over dudes backwards. Anyways, he needs to learn how to square his body at the point of attack, hit with his shoulders, and drive. If he can do that, he's going to be dangerous. What you do get with this kid is an amazing eye for where the ball is going. He will continue to get picks if he can get himself on the field. Now, I would not be surprised to see him start on special teams first until he gets that tackling down. But if the Bears are wanting to continue the turnover ratio, this is the kid to do it. His work ethic is undeniable, and his talent is there. He just needs help with that tackling technique. And you'll watch in a lot of these highlights here, guys. He's always wrapping up a guy in the shoelaces. You know, he's got to learn how to start hitting guys with the shoulder, in the chest, you know, wrap a guy up. And I think that will come. You know, he's really only had 3 or 4 years at the position. So, you know, a little bit raw, but I think his eyes and that QB eye for routes, that's what's going to make him a ball hawk as a safety. I'd be a little bit more concerned about his tackling and coverage if he was a corner, but at safety, I think he's going to be okay.
And I like him too. I like Bishop Fitzgerald. He was on my list as well. You have a guy coming up that was requested in the chat, Jay, that me and him pulled straws to do the profile on. But I like a lot of these safeties, but I'm gonna do one because it was just brought up in the chat, and someone said this is the only safety that he likes in this draft, which is fine. I like a few. I like AJ Housley, which I'll do next. But we have Emmanuel Warren here. Love this kid. Absolutely. McNeil Warren, excuse me. Love this kid a lot. He reminds me a lot of, I want to say, a Kyle Hamilton, Nick Emmanwori type player. Always around the ball. And when we get in, when the Bears get around, this guy's going to be in the first round. Will he be there for the Bears is the biggest question. Not sure that he will be, but we're going to find out here in just a couple of weeks. And I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find my profile on this kid because I wrote one, but I cannot find it. There it is. Got it. Here we go. I'm actually going to be putting this one up. First team All-MAC. So first off, 6'2", 202 pounds. Kind of a little bit lighter than Emmanwori and Hamilton, who they're about 215 to 225, respectively. But enforcer on the field, no fear of contact, sinks breaks with quarterback's release and takes good angles to the ball. Punishing tackler with elite stopping power, length to shed blocks, reaches into passing lanes and presses on tight ends. Another guy that can help the Bears at a weakness. And this is, yes, a guy I would be okay with the Bears taking at 25 because he brings so much to the table. He is a hidden gem at Toledo. He's rangy, explosive safety who excels in zone coverage and is capable of playing downhill in the run game. I expect this kid to go in the first round, probably before the Bears, but if he falls to the Bears, we will be lucky because this kid is a dog. Fantastic athlete, great size, rapid feet, fluid hips, heavy hitter in traffic, elite skills, intelligent, high effort, legit pass coverage ability, can work at a couple of his downfalls. He can work a little bit at his tackling and shedding some blocks. But this kid is straight up awesome. Again, elite skill set. He's a plug and play right in the Chicago Bears secondary. The first day out there, he is one of my favorite players in the 2026 draft. 33% forced interception rate. 3-year contributor, 11 career forced fumbles, great at triggering downhill. Like I said, the downfall, and the one thing I just pointed out, is his tackling, a 15.5% missed tackle rate, but he makes up for that with his instincts. Love this kid. I wouldn't mind seeing this kid on the Chicago Bears in 2026 and taken in the 25th pick, because I don't believe he will be in the second round.
Yeah, the thing that I love the tape. He's violent. The thing that concerns me about him is a lot of those tackles he was leading with his head. You might have some Jaquan Brisker issues with him. Holy shit, dude! You got to take care of your body, man. Some of those hits were dangerous. But man, does he punishing might be an understatement, Sean. That guy hits the shit out of people.
Yeah, and not enough people know about him because he's from Toledo, and who watches MAC football?
He's not afraid of contact. I think you are right, though. He's got some of his tackles are arm tackles, and they're kind of assisted tackles. We'd like to see him clean that up a little bit, but yeah, if he could square his shoulders, and which I think he would love to do once he learns how to really make a professional tackle, I think he's gonna love making tackles.
Yeah. If they can,
and again,
teach him out of that technique he's got there, I think he could be.
But again, though, you're talking about this coaching staff, and who's teaching this secondary? A guy we all love and we trust. So, give him
his tackles look kind of like Jaquan Brisker's first 2 years on the Bears. He doesn't give a shit if he gets knocked out. He's like, I'm gonna knock this dude out with me. Yeah, my next guy, guys, this is a guy that everybody seems to like. I've seen a lot of his name a lot in the chat. I am not as big of a fan, man. I know, Sean, you talked about it earlier. You like him. Genesis Smith, 6'2", 202 pounds out of Arizona. The reason I don't love this guy, man, is you guys, all you hear about when you read about his weaknesses, if you watch the tape, it is true to form. He is not good at tackling, man. This guy needs some serious help when it comes to tackling. His 40 time is 4.5. He's projected to the third round. He has 37 games played, 1,757 college snaps. His 2024 statistics, he played 12 games, had 63 tackles, 39 of them solo, 3.5 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, and 6 passes defended. 2025, pretty similar. 12 games played, 77 tackles, 35 of them solo, 3 tackles for loss, 1 interception, 8 passes defended. This is certainly a guy who I think would fit more as a free safety than anything else. He's definitely much better in coverage than he is at playing the run. His overall grade on Draft Buzz was 84.6. His tackling, 56, man. About one of the lowest guys I looked at of everybody. Run defense, 68. Coverage, 88. Zone coverage, 85. Man press coverage, 82. So this guy certainly can play the pass. Really weird thing about Draft Buzz when it came to him, man, is his NFL comparisons. The first time I've ever seen them do this was Rodney McLeod. So a guy who is now retired and played in the NFL for a long time. It's just usually Draft Buzz gives you a comparison to a guy who's been drafted recently or a guy who is still in college. So for them to use Rodney McLeod was a little strange to me. Some of his strengths: possesses rare length and wingspan for the safety position that allows him to erase throwing windows and discourage quarterbacks from challenging his coverage zones, effectively removing half of the field from opposing passing attacks. Like I said, he's certainly no scrub when it comes to coverage, guys. Displays excellent fluidity in his transitions and hip movement for a taller safety, allowing him to sink smoothly into coverage drops and recalibrate his base without losing ground when routes break underneath. Shows sharp processing ability in zone coverage with keen spatial awareness, allows him to anticipate route progressions over the middle and undercut passes before they arrive at their destination. Excels in a single high alignments where his long stride range and angle discipline enable him to cover massive amounts of ground, making him particularly dangerous and eliminating deep threats and erasing separation downfield. Now let's get into some of his weaknesses here, guys. And you're going to hear tackling. Weaknesses: tackling technique remains his most glaring weakness, with inconsistent form in the open field and too many missed opportunities where he doesn't break down properly or square up ball carriers before contact. Run support game needs significant improvement, as his take-on technique lacks the physicality and technical precision expected from a safety of his size, often getting washed out by blocks or arriving late to fill gaps. Breakdown timing coming downhill shows lapses where he arrives too upright or mistimes his deceleration, leading to missed tackles, allowing extra yards or after the contact that could be prevented with much better technique. Doesn't consistently play with the physical edge and contact aggression you'd expect from a 6'2 safety, occasionally appearing reluctant to dictate terms at the point of attack or deliver punishing hit on ball carriers. And if I read all of this, the weaknesses, guys, it just goes on and on and on, that this guy is just not a huge fan of tackling. Now, listen, I'm not going to say that I watched the tape. He's long, lengthy, athletic, and he's fast, and he does cover a lot of ground. So if you're looking for a guy who solely is there for coverage and makes it tough on a quarterback, he would be a great pick for the Bears. But in terms of a guy who you're looking to help out in the run game, a guy who could maybe even take on a fullback or a pulling guard, this is not the guy you want. He is not, for his frame, that's 6'2", over 200 pounds. He doesn't play like that to me. I've watched the tape, even in his highlights. A lot of the highlights you watch, when he's making tackles, somebody else has to come in and clean up his work. It's just, I'm not saying it's not something you can improve on. I'm sure he could definitely get better at it, but he, like Brendan says, he can cover like a mofo, but man, his tackling technique is terrible. First of all, every time he comes into tackle, he's way too upright. He's got to get lower. Second of all, every single time he tackles somebody, they gain an extra 2 or 3 yards. They always fall forward. For a guy his size, I would expect a lot more out of the tackling department. That's just me personally, guys. I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm not saying he couldn't help the Bears, but definitely somebody the Bears would have to do a lot of work with to improve that tackling.
Yeah, I actually don't know a lot about Genesis Smith, and I didn't have time to get tape on him today, so I apologize for that, but I will definitely look into him a little bit more.
Rangy, very rangy, Sean. Covers a lot of ground, but what's the point of covering all that ground if a tight end catches the ball, you can't bring him down? It doesn't matter.
It's very true. We're going to do the next guy mentioned in the chat. This guy is from LSU. He's number 13.
Are you just going to skip me there, buddy?
Oh, didn't you just go?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought it went you and then Kyle. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right.
Jason, you're done.
I'm going to stay in the Big Ten. I'm going to stay in the Big Ten. I know you're not going to think when you hear this team of the Big Ten, but they are a Big Ten team. I just went over his partner in crime over at the Trojans, but now I'm going to talk about Kamari Ramsey. And if Fitzgerald is a work in progress, his Trojan teammate Kamari Ramsey is the finished product. He has spent his entire career since high school as a DB, originally committed to and playing for UCLA, 6 foot tall, 205-pound safety. He didn't do much his freshman year, but the 4-star prospect wasted no time his sophomore season with UCLA when he racked up a decent 40 tackles and an interception alongside his 4 passes defended. Entering the transfer portal his junior year, the now former Bruin came into his own at USC under the tutelage of new DC DeAnton Lynn. His junior year, he just tore up the Big Ten with 60 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions. His senior year at USC was cut short with a right knee injury that finished his season during that Iowa game last year, and he missed the last 2 games of the season and, of course, the bowl game. If he's medically cleared, and I think this kid has a really good chance that he will be, he's got a really good chance to make an immediate impact on an NFL roster. That injury may make him fall in the drafts on draft boards, which might be a good thing for the Bears. But if the Bears do take him, I'd love to see him taken maybe in the 4th or 5th round. He does have a 3rd round grade on many sites, but that injury, again, may cost him, which, again, could be good for the Bears. I also think that the arrival of Bishop Fitzgerald, who we talked about earlier, and his 5 sacks may have hurt his numbers a bit in this season, in his senior season. It's just hard to rack up tackles when your offense is on the field and your defense isn't on there. The kid has great vision. He's a textbook tackler. He's great in the open field, can intercept the ball by getting in the correct position during his pre-snap reads. He's great on a safety blitz, has special teams experience, can cover tight ends like a blanket, and is comfortable in zone, man, playing deep in the box or lined up across the slot. He literally can play anywhere in that defensive backfield. Other than the knee injury, I'm not sure what else you want out of a safety. I think he's NFL ready, and he will make an impact the moment he gets a chance to. This guy is literally, he's not going on special teams. He's a starter if he's healthy day one.
I like him. I like Ramsey. I like him.
Yeah, and I crossed up the tape there, guys. Sorry. All these damn USC guys.
Yeah, real quick, and not to like what Jason was talking about, but somebody in the chat said if you don't like coverage guys, then you don't like. Listen, you don't like Genesis. You know what it reminds me of, guys, to be honest with you? great in coverage, can probably pick off a lot of passes, can't tackle. He reminds me of Eddie Jackson in year 3 on the Chicago Bears. That's what he reminds me of. And I don't want anything to do with that shit. And then you get these guys who start defending themselves by going on Instagram and saying they're better tacklers than Lance Briggs. It's like, I don't want to deal with that shit again.
Right.
That's just me personally for Genesis Smith. But yeah, Jason, I like him a lot, man. I like the team.
Yeah, Kamara Ramsey
Like
is
the-
one of my favorites in this draft too at the safety position.
It's
Yeah.
just the injury. Everything else about the kid is great.
Yeah, I actually did a write
At
up.
this point, they've all dealt with some injury, right? I mean, at this point in 2026,
Knee injuries don't
What are
worry
you gonna
me
do?
as much, and as long as it's not a patellar tendon. If it's an ACL or MCL, like these guys come back in 6 months, they're fine.
especially if they're not linemen who constantly need leverage, like this guy's free range. I like him a lot, man. He was one of the guys I was looking at before you guys decided you were going to do, and I like Ramsey a lot, man.
Kyle's got to be a little quicker on the trigger.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I told you guys, I'm fine with it, man. You guys do all the studs. I'm fine with getting the guys who, if the Bears don't address the safety position in the first 3 rounds, we can pick up some scraps in the fourth. I'll do them. I don't care.
Howie brought up Jacoby Thomas, and I don't mind him either. Later round, 5th, 6th round pick. Again, athletic, rangy, good coverage guy, can play the run. But he right now projected 5th, 6th round pick. I didn't look into him to see if he was invited to the combine, but I don't mind Jacoby Thomas. We can't talk about them all, guys, but I appreciate you guys throwing him in because I'm writing him down, and if the Bears do get him, we'll be talking about you again in the future. But yeah, for me, someone brought his name up just a few minutes ago, and I tried to skip. I got so excited, I tried to skip Jason. But number 13, LSU, AJ Housley. This kid is another dynamic stud. Could be had here in the 2nd round for the Chicago Bears. I don't believe he'll be going ahead of that. I guess we'll have to wait and see exactly how his stupid combine turns out.
Hey,
I can't get words out of my mouth anymore. But little on the short side, 5'11", but carries the weight at 222. He is a senior, consensus ranked 69. Right now, he's on the big board and my big board as a top 75 player. To me, top 3 ceiling as a safety in this draft. He's old school, man. Tone-centered safety with modern coverage instincts. He's a Houston transfer, became the centerpiece of LSU secondary. He blends physicality with intelligence and ball production into a well-rounded defensive profile. A dependable tackler, high IQ zone defender, legitimate playmaker on the back end, posting 7 interceptions over the past 2 seasons. Despite not fitting the prototypical NFL safety size, which I just stated, he consistently and this the usage also reflects the trust that coaching staff has in his ability to execute multiple roles within the defense. He's comfortable playing deep, fitting in on the run downhill and matching routes underneath. Again, a 1.3% interception rate was close to the tops in FSB last year. 2.17 pass breakup rate also topped. Close to the top in the league last year, 57.5 passer rating when targeted, 93 percentile in coverage grade for PFF, and zone coverage grade 94 percentile. Great, again, career run defensive grade is in the 79th percentile, run stop rate 83rd percentile. Missed tackle rate is the one thing you'd like to see go down, 11.8, which is in the 73rd. You'd like to see that drop to at least 5%, especially as he gets in here. A couple weaknesses, not the best career pressure rate, 22.73%. Pass rush grade is 72.5 over his college career. 49th percentile in man coverage. So, for him, a little small. You usually like your safeties 6'1" to 6'2", or a little bit taller. But again, his physical instincts and abilities kind of cross those out. Scheme fit, he's an ideal fit for the Chicago Bears, the strong safety role. He can also play as a big nickel defender. He's an immediate culture changer. He sets the tone defensively, brings elite physicality, offers flexibility for the Bears at nickel and safety, as I just stated. I love this kid, and I think he could be a big playmaker, and I think he will be a big playmaker in the NFL this season for whatever team drafts him. It would be nice if he was drafted in the Navy and orange.
His body type. Who's the white safety that played for the Chargers?
Eric Weddle.
Yeah, his body type reminds me of Weddle, man.
He's about the same size as Weddle. I forgot to take the damn picture down. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, who we got next?
It looks good, man. Yeah, you guys, this is a guy who, like I said, you guys took the studs, so I had just a couple guys left to choose from. This is a guy who would be a late round pick. He's kind of a conundrum because he didn't play in 2024 due to a shoulder injury at Virginia Tech before he transferred to Notre Dame. It's Jalen Stroman, 6 foot, 199 pounds on a Notre Dame. He's projected to be nickel safety or free safety. His 40 time is 4.5. Like I said, projected 4th round, probably going to end up being the 5th. 38 games played in college, 1,133 snaps played. His draft buzz ratings overall was 82.2, tackling a 69, run defense an 84, coverage an 83, zone coverage a 72, and man coverage an 87. So certainly better in man than he is in zone, which bodes well for the Chicago Bears. Some of his strengths: fires downhill with bad intentions when he reads run, attacking gaps with force and delivering contact through ball carriers instead of just wrapping up at the point of attack, processes information quickly pre-snap and shows excellent anticipation, allowing him to trigger and close on plays faster than his timed speed suggests he should. Zone coverage instincts are legitimately impressive as he reads quarterback eyes and understands route concepts quickly enough to be in position when the ball carrier arrives. Length and wide shoulders give him the frame to handle bigger slot receivers and tight ends in coverage. Plus, he can add weight without losing mobility if needed. Some of his weaknesses: man coverage technique needs refinement as he gets too handsy at the top of his route, struggling to mirror sudden breaks when playing tight coverage on athletic receivers, takes false steps occasionally when diagnosing plays, leading to him being out of position when his initial read proves incorrect or the offense attacks elsewhere. Tackling consistency leaves something to be desired given his physical tools, as he sometimes aims too high or tries to deliver the knockout blow instead of securing the tackle. This is a guy I'm not going to spend too much time on, guys. He was, I think, I think he was the 13th or 14th ranked safety left on the board when I took him. He would be a guy the Bears would draft late in one of the later rounds, and they would probably have to develop him. I do not believe he'd be a day one starter. I don't think he's going to be a day one starter in the NFL for any team, regardless of their safety situation. This is a guy I see as more of a project. And if you watch the tape, there is a lot to be left to be desired, man. He does. The problem with him is, I watched 4 or 5 different highlight tapes of his. I watched about an hour worth of footage. All of his highlights come from the same 3 games. And it's like well, this guy played 12 games and you give me 3 games. He had to make plays in those other games, right? Like, he's just a guy who I think would need a lot of work, more of a question mark than anything. But if you haven't addressed the safety situation late and you're looking for like a diamond in the rough, probably somebody the Bears would consider.
All righty.
Jason.
Yeah, you guys can tell that I'm absolutely in love with him, right?
Next.
Actually, I think he also only got the playing time he did at Notre Dame because I think that's one of the safeties in front of him got hurt. I think that's the only reason he found his way on the field for the majority of that 2025 season. Just not somebody I'm in love with, but if you need one, you got to get one, right?
Yeah.
Hey, he's a local kid, so they could talk to him for free.
Yeah, for sure.
My next guy up here is Jalen Husky, the 2-year Terp transferred from Bowling Green after a sophomore campaign, weighing in at 201 pounds, a 6'2". Jalen Husky doesn't look imposing by any means, but has a fairly decent height to weight distribution for his position. He's not going to break any land speed records with his 4.58 40, but what he lacks in measurables, he makes up for with intelligence. He doesn't pop off the page as a player you get excited for necessarily, unless you're a coach that values productive play. And sometimes his productive play comes in the form of not screwing up. Not one to make mistakes. He killed it in the sophomore season at Bowling Green, racking up 53 tackles, 6 passes defended, a forced fumble, and 4 interceptions. When the opportunity came, Jalen entered the transfer portal, as a lot of athletes do nowadays, landing with the Terps, and then wasted no time racking up decent stats again with another 45 tackles and 3 more interceptions. He had a really great year his senior season with 72 tackles and 4 more interceptions. He's durable and reliable with nearly 2,000 snaps in his collegiate career, most of which were essentially at nickel, which I think is probably where you're going to see him filling in at the NFL level. Now, I know we have Kyler Gordon, but at some point we need to start talking about Gordon's weakest ability, and that's his availability. This kid under the right coach could be a difference maker and grow into a perennial starter if given the chance. He's a hard hitter and an excellent tackler, always keeps one eye on the quarterback, and just seems to be in the right place at the right time, making plays. I think the Bears should take a hard look at this kid, and I think he's going to wind up being a pretty damn good player in the NFL.
I will tell you, Jay, watching this tape, man, this dude fucking crushes people, dude.
I told you he's the hitter, dude.
He's absolutely annihilating people. Yeah, he's a fun watch.
Nice solid tackle. See, his shoulders are square. He's hitting guys. He's wrapping them up. He's doing what you want as a tackler. He almost tackles like a linebacker, to be honest with you. But, he doesn't have any of those measurables that you're like, oh, this guy's a super stud. But when you watch him play, he's like, oh, tackle, 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 tackle. 72 tackles for a safety is pretty damn good.
Yeah, and the chats are, guys, we're not ignoring you, but they seem to be slowing down coming through as you guys are putting them in here for some reason. I'm not. Another fun day with StreamYard. We'll continue to work this problem out. The next game is a guy that the Bears have been connected to just a little bit. I can't remember who it was that said that the Bears have reached out and talked to him early, and this is Penn State, or not Penn State, excuse me. That's Sky Wheatley's Penn State. Dylan Thieneman, Oregon. 6 foot, 207 pounds, junior free safety, cover one center fielder. He's one of the smartest, most instinctive defensive backs in this draft. This is a kid. Again, this is a plug and play first day. Get him in your lineup. You're going to love him. And he changes the culture of your team. Starting experience. He plays fast because he processes fast. He brings legitimate range, strong ball production, confidence to trigger downhill in the run game. While he isn't the biggest safety, he has some technical cleanup to do. His floor and long-term starting ability is extremely high, and his best tape suggests he's a Pro Bowl caliber coverage safety in the NFL. One of his biggest strengths in his calling card is his mental processing. He reads route concepts quickly, anticipates throws consistently, arrives at the catch point. He had a 91.1 coverage grade in 2025 that reflects his comfort playing both zone and man, particularly with single high defenders. He shows excellent range from the middle of the field, closes ground quickly with strong straight line speed. He's a film junkie. He plays with confidence and decisiveness. Against the run, Thieneman triggers downhill without hesitation. He finishes violently and squares up. He has a missed tackle rate, and I love this, of 8.3%. That's solid given the volume of snaps at plus over 2,400 college snaps. This kid is amazing at getting to you, getting you to the ground. Again, he can align deep in the middle as a safety, split field defender, rotate down pre-snap without looking lost. A couple of weaknesses: physicality, dominant safety, can struggle against blocks consistently. He doesn't always disengage cleanly and can resort to ankle biting in space. His pursuit angles can be inconsistent, particularly when reacting to misdirection or heavy play concepts. But again, this kid is a guy, good coverage grade at 88, run defensive grade at 90, career pressure rate at over a third. This guy reminds me, and I wrote it in my notes here, a lot of Los Angeles Chargers stud Derwin James. His scheme fit for the Bears. He fits cleanly as a starting free safety in the Bears base and sub packages, primary single high, cover one, cover three safety. He's going to shine. He's going to shine. His instincts, his processing, this is what you look for, someone that can read the field and get there. He rarely busts in coverage. And again, those 2,400 snaps against high-level competition in the Big Ten is something that I absolutely love and something that I look for in these prospects as we move along. I love kids from big schools, and I love Thieneman on tape.
Sean J2K says, I watched all 22 review of Thieneman. 5 games. Yeah. He missed 11 tackles and made 13. Any comment to that?
Say that again?
Any response to that? He misses. He
said he missed 11 tackles.
Something you saw when you were watching the tape?
No tapes that I saw was he missing tackles. And he has a career 8.3% missed tackle rate, which over 2,400 snaps, which tells you he's not missing tackles all that often. People do have bad games. Everybody has a bad game. Quarterbacks throw 3 interceptions in a game. When you look at the totality, plus 2,400 snaps, 8.6 missed tackle rate. That's pretty damn good for me.
I was just asking.
No, I'm just saying that's pretty damn good for me.
Yeah, I mean, 8% is one of the lowest I've seen.
Yeah, so
One of the lowest I've seen. I think sometimes, especially Jason, they just don't like the white guys, bro.
Dude, it's not that it's a DB or safety. It's just wrong.
Hey, Eric Weddle was the shit.
And so was Gary Fensick in 1985, 40 years ago.
So was Jason Sehorn.
Sorry, 22 years ago for Sehorn. Yeah.
Jason Sehorn.
So was Cooper DeJean.
Cooper DeJean is, I don't know if he's 100% white.
All right. Go ahead, Jason.
I think you're up, aren't you?
I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Well,
here's the guy that me and Sean.
One thing I've noticed is safety is not as deep as.
Yeah, I got one more after this. I got to put a bow on this.
Linebackers and defensive linemen are way deeper than safety this year. Way deeper than safety.
Sean, I got two left. I got the next guy here that you and I kind of went over back and forth on, Bud Clark.
I got two left too, but I think I got a jam.
The lithe but shifty and savvy Texas Christian Horned Frog. By the way, every time I hear TCU, I think of the daughter in Landman. Bud Clark.
She's in the new Scream. She's in the new Scream, by the way.
What's that?
She's in the new Scream, by the way. She's playing Neve Campbell's daughter.
I'll watch it.
I'm gonna watch it just because.
And then as soon as she dies, I'm gonna stop watching it.
I'm turning it off.
Bud Clark is a nightmare for opposing QBs and OCs. He loves jumping routes, has great hands for safety, and gets up all in your business while defending the pass. He's projected as a 6th rounder on Draft Buzz, which I thought was crazy, but I think he goes a little bit higher than that. He's 6'1", 185 pounds, which isn't a big frame or really ideally what you want. It's probably not going to draw the attention of a lot of scouts' eyes, but I think the tape is what will draw you to him. And I don't think he's a kid that risks adding weight either if it means risking his sub 4.5 40 time. His draft profile says he's turned down offers from LSU, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss to play for TCU. I think that was probably more of an NIL business decision rather than a football decision. I'll respect it either way because the kid's still dazzled on the field. The man has a high rating on every category you will look up on him. By the way, I call him a man because he's been playing for TCU since 2020 and already has a kid that's like 3 years old. Watch the tape and you'll love it, though. But keep in mind that turning down huge programs and staying at a college for 6 years seems to me like he might be a player more interested in money than W's. Now, he did battle some injuries early in his career and was a 4-star recruit and did opt out of the draft in 25 to stay with TCU. But again, I'm not sure if that's character or money. And I'm not trying to knock the guy for wanting to make money, more power to him, but I just get a little antsy when I see a guy opt back into college after an injury-riddled first half of his college career when he had a great 2024. Everything else other than the frame and staying in college in TCU is great about this guy. He's a natural ball hawk, relentless in coverage, and a guy that loves to take chances jumping the route. He's a bit of a puzzle to me, but a good combine and a great interview, you never know just how early this guy goes.
Yeah, I like Bud Clark. I do, and I know that he's been injured, and I know that he's older, but I do like him.
You can't even find his age. They won't release it because they probably doesn't want people to know.
I think someone in the chat said he's 26, but I think
25.
25
years old.
He's got a beard, I believe. I mean, the guy is.
Yeah, old men get hurt, bro.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. We're going to stick in the no, you weren't in the Big Ten. I'm going to go back to the Big Ten. I'm going from Oregon to Pennsylvania to Penn State to one of my favorites in this draft. And the very first profile I did in the 2026 draft, that was Zakai Wheatley. Really, really love this kid. I think this kid has a chance to be something special in this league. 6'2", 200 pounds. Give me 1 second here. Where is Wheatley? 6'3", 200 pounds, excuse me. He had a 7.8 grade, comparable grades. Brian Branch out of Alabama, 7.8 and 23. Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota, 7.7. Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame, 7.9 in 2025. My comp, before we get into this, is Kyle Hamilton and Zakai Wheatley. He's been all over the board here. I've seen some people having him in the 3rd round. I've had some people having him at the end of the 1st round. I've seen him in the 2nd round. I have a top 75 grade on him myself personally. He's just that guy. You know, week after week, Wheatley was one of the only reasons in a bad season for Penn State that you had an opportunity to watch this guy. He was a tone setter, physicality. He tilted the field with his instincts, high football intelligence, ball magnet. He has a natural feel for the game that shows up clearly in coverage. He reads quarterback well, anticipates routes, consistently puts himself in position to make plays on the football. He's not guessing, he's diagnosing. He tracks the ball comfortably downfield, jumps passing lanes with confidence, creates turnovers by understanding timing and leverage. The anticipation is one of the big reasons he's been highly productive over his last 2 seasons at Penn State, posting 4 interceptions while rarely being out of position. He also has a presence against the run. He isn't a highlight-only safety who avoids tackle. Wheatley comes downhill with intent, flows quickly to the football, plays with real urgency and run support. He had an 82.7 run defensive grade in 2025, reflects how consistently he impacts the game near the line of scrimmage. Again, like I said, high IQ, mental processing speed are 2 of his strengths. Versatility and scheme flexibility. Wheatley isn't locked into one role at Penn State. They asked him to play deep safety, rotate into the box, match up against tight ends and slot receivers, serve as an extra run defender. Again, something that Dennis Allen looks for when he's looking for defense. So he would fit really well in the Bears defensive scheme. Some players fade when the lights get brighter. Wheatley does not. He consistently shows up in the biggest moments, making key tackles, breaking on throws, and stabilizing the defense. When things get chaotic, he doesn't disappear. He elevates his teammates. I love this kid. Love this kid. I think he's a damn good safety coming out. He might be one of the best. He brings size, instincts, versatility, and leadership to the back end, something that the Bears are lacking. Again, he's a day 2 pick right now. We'll see what he does here at the Combine. But for NFL teams looking for smart, physical, scheme flexibility with real ball skills, you're going to find it in Sakai Wheatley out of Penn State.
John, how old is he?
Oh, you know what? I don't think I got his age.
I don't know if these guys are still making fun of the 25-year-old, or if he's also old.
I think those are old. Yeah, I think they're making fun of.
Yeah, they're starting to come up. They're starting to come up late. He's 23 years old.
Oh yeah,
I mean, somebody said he had a 401k.
I love that tape, man. I love.
Oh yeah,
film.
Wheatley is good, man.
I also love the Brian Branch comparison.
Yeah,
that too.
Wheatley is good. I agree, man. Safe pick. I agree. I like him, and I might like him a little bit more than Ousley. And I have him up there with McNeil Warren. I really do. Below Caleb Downs, obviously, the cream of the crop. And I'll say this. The only thing, Brandon was talking about Caleb Downs a little bit earlier in the chat. The only thing that worries me about Caleb Downs is his weight and his height. For everything that they expect out of him at the next levels, I think he's 6 foot 190 or just pushing 200. It's a little worrisome, but Caleb Downs, he's going top 5. He's going to have his opportunity to show he's one of the best in this draft.
You know what? I'll wrap it up here, Sean, with my last guy, who's an Iowa Hawkeye. I know you had a hard time finding some tape on this kid, and really they're not going to find a whole lot on it, but what you do find, you're going to be pretty impressed with. And the kid I'm talking about is Xavier Nwangpa. Say that twice. Yeah. He might be my favorite safety in this class, honestly, just because of his value. He's really going to be like a 6th or 7th round pick, but I don't know after the Combine how he's going to go because he is super smart. Anyways, he's got some height and weight to him at 6'2", 213 pounds. And when you combine it with his 4.39 40 speed and his big Dean's List brain, this kid is everything you're looking for in an athlete and an employee if you're a Bear executive. He's a 5-star recruit coming out of Pleasant Hill, Iowa, and he's the highest-rated recruit ever to commit to and sign with the Hawkeyes. He has range, size, speed, awareness, and a high football IQ, maybe a pretty high everyday IQ as well with that Dean's List accomplishment. He's a natural leader and very durable, playing every game since joining the Hawkeyes in all 4 years, but he does have some lower grades in coverage. Now, mostly in man coverage against NFL Twitch-type receivers. Not something you want to hear about, but I think this kid's smart enough to learn the techniques that are going to be required to get him to where you need him to be. I think he could benefit most in the right situation and may wind up starting mid-season after some time on special teams. I think he eventually makes it not just on the roster, but the starting roster. His stats speak for himself. Really, they're just the loudest, fan of him. Really, if you want to look at it. Let's see. He's got 171 total tackles, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 interceptions in 4 seasons with the Hawkeyes. Most project him out as a zone nickelback, but I think this kid winds up being more of a free safety with his brain and speed leading the way for a defense that's looking for that piece that may not pay high dividends in year 1, but could be a leading top-tier secondary for some lucky defense later on in his career. Maybe for the beloved, who knows? With a 6th-round grade, I'd take him in a heartbeat. I just feel that after the combine interviews, he's probably going to jump up to like the 4th round. If you guys do get a chance to find some of his tape, you'll only see it against a couple of teams, but it's really good. He's a really, really solid player. And I think he's got all the, we were talking about the relative athletic score. We were talking about intelligence. We're talking about character. These are things that the Bears value very highly. And this kid has got like all of those in spades.
Yeah, I like the safety class. I like the safety class to a point. I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier. I think the names that we mentioned on here is kind of where I start and stop a little bit. I'm going to check out these names. The chat put in Takario Davis, Jacoby Thomas, Lewis Moore, VJ Payne, and Jalen Kilgroy. I wrote them all down here,
Sean,
boys.
here's the problem for me. Like, the guys that you guys are talking about now, like Jason just said, this guy's probably a special teamer halfway through. Normally, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's add him. Let's add some depth. Maybe you develop him into one. But with no safeties on the roster, whoever you draft is probably going to be starting. So for me, that's why you got to get one of those top names we were talking about. And like I said, if you drafted one of those guys in the 2nd round and they came back in the 6th round, we're like, we want this guy too. I'm all for it. Right. But the Bears need a starter. They need a starter bad. I mean, I don't even know if you're going to be able to afford Kevin Byard, and Jaquan Brisker is certainly gone. We basically heard it out of the GM's mouth himself. The Bears need a starter. They need to draft a starter.
The Bears need to start adjusting some contracts and getting some more money. They need to start figuring this out. I figure you already heard it with Kansas City. They're getting busy. They're sharpening up their pencil, getting to work because they had a disappointing season. And I'm going to put a guarantee on. Chiefs are going to be back. They're going to be competitive, and they're embarrassed by what happened last year. Pat Mahomes, that whole squad. I believe the Chiefs will be competitive and back. And they're already looking to add pieces by adjusting contracts. And I'm just kind of waiting to see myself personally what Ryan Poles is going to do, because as I stated a couple times over the past couple of weeks, it's time to sharpen up that pencil. This is the most important time of his tenure here, and what he does is either going to move the Bears forward or it's going to continue to set us back. Because I know someone in the chat said a little bit ago, I'm tired of blaming Ryan Poles for the players that are drafted. Well, that's Ryan Poles' job. So the buck starts and stops there. If he is looking at tape and he doesn't like the guy, then he's got to go to his coaches and say, hey, I don't like this guy because X, Y, Z. I don't think we should draft him. We should go with this guy. I know we want your system, but this guy should fit your system too. It all falls back to Ryan Poles. This is a huge draft for him. He has to add depth. He has to stop missing in the 3rd round. Those are critical picks for a freaking roster. The depth that you get out of the 3rd round. A lot of teams get starters out of the 3rd round. This is just so gosh darn big, man. This I'm so intrigued by.
And I think Brisker was a 3rd round pick, I believe, right? He was a 3rd round pick.
I think him and Gordon were both 2nd round picks.
Well, even if he was end 2nd round, so I mean, it got pretty close to 3rd round. I mean, it's. If you look at the defense side of the ball, like the guys he's drafted, he's actually been a lot better. Like the Velus Jones, obviously an issue, signing Nate Davis for free agency, but Ryan Poles seems to know the secondary better than anything. I have faith in Ryan Poles drafting a safety, especially with Dennis Allen helping him out. It just Dustin said, he was a 2nd, but yeah, you're right, Sean. I mean, this is now when you don't have $150 million to spend in free agency, this is when you cannot miss. You can't miss on anything. I mean, even your 4th, 5th, 6th round picks should play a rotational part on this team. Just like we talk about, Luke Newman played a little bit last year. Kyle Mongai was basically a starting running back in the NFL. He's a 7th round pick. They got to mimic that success of last year. And remember, guys, the Bears won best draft class in the NFL last year.
I was going to say, you want to know the truth. Poles has failed at his other drafts. If we're being honest,
sure.
You look at the success rate of players who aren't here to the players that are here from his first 3 drafts. Maybe the combination of the coaches that he has here Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen, they're going to have a second solid draft in a row. I can't rule it out because they nailed last year. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and maybe it's in between, guys. Maybe Ryan Poles deserves a lot of blame, but not all of it. How much was Matt Eberflus helping him? We'll never know. We're never going to know. Like, was Matt Eberflus like, hey, I need a safety, or was he like, hey, man, I need this safety. I need this guy in the draft because this is. I don't know. Was Ryan Poles drafting guys who didn't fit Matt Eberflus's scheme? Was Matt Eberflus not developing the players properly?
Was he drafting them players that Matt Eberflus said would fit his scheme and just didn't?
Yeah, and then Sean, you said it yourself earlier. You said, I bet you if Zach Pickens was drafted with this regime, they would do a better job of developing him. Maybe it's just all of the above, right? And
it could be.
All we could do is to hope that the Bears build off of last year because, like, once again, they won the best draft class in the NFL based off of the 2025 season. They were number one, so hopefully they can do that again. If they do that again, they'll be.
I'm with you, Dustin. I'm with you 100%.
The entire coaching staff: Shane Waldron, Luke Getsy, all those guys.
You know what, man? It's back, and I'm gonna hold all of my comments and what they do. Obviously, as a diehard Bears fan, I'm busting out the microscope and I'm putting them under it from this day forward. Now that the combine's here, what they looking at, what are they doing, who they talking to? Obviously, talking to people doesn't mean they're drafting people. They didn't talk to Peter Woods. Maybe they draft Peter Woods. You don't know what's going to happen. As we stated earlier in the show, the draft's one of the most unpredictable things in the world.
I love that comment by Tom right there.
By what?
Eberflus must have popped his head in the room and screamed, "Hippolyte!"
The chat, you guys rock, man. You guys rock. And yes, Kyle, before we get out of here, because I got to go check out my family. I'm not getting any responses. My daughter's sick beyond belief. My wife's got to work. Things are a little chaotic right now, but what a win by Team USA, man. That was. You guys know
both of them, yeah. Both of those games were awesome.
I was going to say, I know my boy Mikey here is a hockey fan, and I'm not going to slight the women because the women
they dominated.
Dude, they put on one of the most impressive performances. They might be the most impressive Olympic team ever. And I know men and women are different, blah 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 blah, but what they did was unbelievable, man. Like that was.
Thanks,
and
Jake,
I'll tell you, for the people like. That don't know hockey, man. There was a back check that for the women, there was a back check that set up a cross ice pass. Then I can't remember the lady who scored the game-winning goal. She went between the defender's leg, top shelf.
Oh yeah,
I was actually on the phone with you, Kyle, and I lost my shit. I lost my
through the legs, did like a spin move, and then 5-hold the goalie. Like, dude,
it was unbelievable.
Listen, I know that I use this joke often. It's going to be written on your gravestone, but Sean Lugo's gravestone might say USA, USA, USA. It might happen. There's a chance.
That was amazing. And then for the men to come back and look, man, I like a lot of the Canadian hockey players. Well, for them to come in after and be so losers and say, look at the box score, we were the better team. Hey, dumbass, look at the box score. We scored more goals than you.
You guys took double the shots and we scored double the goals. So shut the fuck up. Shut up. These people.
It was really classless. And I want someone to tell me what's the reason behind the stuffed animals. What is that? Did you see the players? They're looking at it like, what the fuck is that?
They do it in soccer and they do it in Japanese baseball. They give them stuffed animals. So I don't know if this is something that's spreading to every sport, but I don't understand the point. I'll have to look into it because I've never understood the point of the stuffed animals. I don't get it. And when they did the baseball in Japan, one of the guys took his stuffed animal and automatically handed it off to the kid right next to it. There's like a little kid out there. He's like, hey, you can have this. I don't know if it's something they're supposed to keep.
I did not know this. That's a fun fact. That's a fun fact, Mikey. That's really awesome. He said, did you know in the movie Miracle they cut off
they cut a guy off the team.
Jack Hughes. 46 years later, Jack Hughes wins for USA, man. That was awesome. And I'll tell you, even more impressive was the fact that he took politics out of it at the end of the game and said, man, I'm just proud to be an American today. Go USA. Thank you, Jack Hughes, for bringing sports back to where sports should be. Sports.
You know what?
Celebrate the moment.
Sean, there's like a whole family like system that's brewing in like the USA hockey world. You've got both the Hughes brothers won overtime goals, right?
Yeah.
Who's the Chuck brothers are like perennial
Chuck, yeah.
Olympic up, and they're great players for the team. They're
Mhm.
leaders. I think this might have been their last Olympics, so they're getting a little bit.
Well, not Brady. Brady's young. Maybe Matthew.
But man, I'm just, and Hallebuck was Enninger didn't even get time. He didn't even play. I mean, dude, I've never seen such an impressive performance by a goalie before. I wish he was on the Blackhawks, but Hallebuck is a monster.
You want to know? You want to know too, and because I'm a big hockey fan, and I'm not gonna lie, I had tears coming out of my eyes. What they did for Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey, and skating him around, bringing his kids on the ice, like that hockey brotherhood, man. Wow, what a brotherhood it is to be. That was touching, man. His wife, his little children.
Yeah,
I mean, that was ridiculously awesome, man. The USA hockey team, man. Hats off to you guys, man. You were impressive, and you won with class. You showed class. You were class, and you were best in the class. And thank you, USA. Let's go.
Maybe Canada should stop booing the national anthem. It seems like it's biting them in the ass.
Boys and girls, until tomorrow, I got to run. Until tomorrow, we will be back. Our bare minimum will be back. They're going to be burning the midnight oil, 11:30. Brandon and Dustin will be kicking it. And
what if I have an early bedtime?
You have an early bedtime, you should probably put it on in your car on the way to work.
Well, what if you don't have enough time to finish the show on your way to work?
Finish it on your way home from work while you're stuck in traffic.
Oh, man.
And you'll be entertained the entire time, I promise. And ladies and gentlemen, this Sunday, we are going to season debut, I guess, the second debut, because we did one a couple weeks ago. The Northside 9. We got a lot of Cubs stuff to talk about this Sunday. 7 o'clock should be a lot of fun. Talking baseball. World Baseball Classic starts March 5th through March 17th. So that's going to be fun to watch. Baseball is back. I'm happy the Cubs are back. I'm a diehard Northsider. So is Kyle. Jay, we're trying to figure out what he likes in baseball these days. He can always come to the Cubs. I mean, we'll always take him.
Yeah, real quick, guys, before we get out of here, once again, Mikey, prayers, man. I hope your health is good. I'm happy to hear that everything went well, man. Everybody in the chat today, you guys absolutely killed it, man. I don't think I've ever had to keep up with the chat that fast. That was amazing, dude. You guys make the show so much more interesting. J2K, love all your draft knowledge, man. Keep that shit up.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're going to be definitely coming on here and doing a draft with us at some point.
Mikey,
don't. But appreciate all you guys, man. Take care of yourself so you can take care of each other. We love you, man. We'll see you guys. I will see you on Sunday, but definitely go check out the bare minimum or tomorrow at 11:30 or on your way to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Pay attention to this combine. I believe tomorrow. I believe it's linebackers. Linebackers are at the combine tomorrow. I thought I heard. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I heard. So
I love it, man. It's something I can have on TV at work all day.
Fuck yeah,
God, dude. Fuck.
Until then,
Good better bang! Never let it rest! Never let it rest! You're gonna get better! You're gonna get better! You better get better! You better get better! Bears on 3! 1, 2, 3!
love y'all. Bear the fuck down.